is the stupidest time zone in the world. Muy buenos días a todos ustedes, en vivo y en directo desde Hawái. Discúlpenme que esté más o menos susurrando, pero honestamente son las 3:30 de la mañana acá. 3:30 de la mañana, Putin, Trump, Trump, Putin, haciendo puras mamadas, ¿no? Y quiero entrar rapidísimo al Casino del Tío Salo, porque este es un episodio del Casino del Tío Salo. Ya tengo aquí a Alex y a Farhan para empezar con ustedes. Pero en lo que nos juntamos, simplemente quiero poner esto enfrente de todos ustedes. Están empezando a compartir noticias de que Rusia y Ucrania van a tener una guerra nuclear. Ahora, para el 99% de la gente que no se puede salir del encabezado, qué terrible. Para todos los que entendemos que las noticias no son para informarnos, sino para hacernos equivocarnos con las peores decisiones de toda la historia, simplemente por miedo y por emociones, sabemos que esto es algo muy positivo para la bolsa eventualmente. Recuerden, cuando Hamás atacó a Israel, tuvimos el cero tan famoso de Hamás en la tabla calentándose. ¿Y eso qué pasó? El precio de Bitcoin, solamente voy a hablar de Bitcoin, pero el S&P 500 siguió el mismo patrón, el Nasdaq siguió el mismo patrón, todas estas cosas siguieron el mismo patrón. ¿Y qué fue lo que pasó? Les voy a contar. Bitcoin estaba justamente por ahí de los 28, casi tocando los $29,000 antes de que esto ocurriera. Viene el evento, viene el terrorismo, viene la declaración de guerra, Bitcoin baja por ahí a los 26, $25,000 y de ahí se va a 70 y tantos mil dólares a ser un nuevo alto histórico. Eso fue lo que pasó. No todo pasa de golpe, no todo es instantáneo, porque al principio, si la bolsa subiera cuando te dijeran ese mismo día que la guerra nuclear está a punto de explotar, todo el mundo entendería esto. Pero es lo que muy probablemente vaya a ocurrir. Entonces, si estamos viendo estas noticias que son, es el fin del mundo, Putin y Trump están atacándose, Trump, Putin, Putin, Trump, se están atacando. Eso es bastante caliente para la bolsa, pongámoslo así. Ahora, eso no quiere decir que, una vez más, no estemos viviendo una corrección estilo la de 27, $28,000 a 25. Por supuesto que podemos ver eso. Simplemente a un periodo un poco más para adelante, esto va a resultar ser alcista para la bolsa, en mi opinión, a menos de que algo más ocurra, por supuesto. Además, y esto me está partiendo los huevos, que le está pegando a todos mis timelines, creo que Q2 de este año nos va a ayudar ahorita, moviéndose para adelante, los resultados de allá. ¿Por qué? Porque Q1 fueron a propósito resultados malos, hicieron que toda la gente fuera y gastara dinero con lo de las tarifas, los aranceles y todas estas estupideces. Eso generó ese negativo GDP, el PIB, la gente está esperando más o menos eso, pero no se va a repetir, tíos, porque ¿cómo cuentan el PIB? Si compraste más de afuera para adentro en Estados Unidos, eso cuenta como menos lo que compraste. Y por eso lo tuvimos en negativo. Esta vez vamos a tener positivo porque todo el mundo fue como imbécil a comprar todas las cosas. Ahora fueron los consumidores. Al principio fueron los productores y ahora los consumidores que se compraron un coche porque están viendo a su youtuber favorito que les dijo que se le adelantaran a los aranceles, pues bueno, les dio la metida de verga de toda la historia a todos, porque adivinen qué sigue en descuento. Todo. Absolutamente todo. Pero no se preocupen, ahí viene la inflación. Simplemente en algunos momentos van a borrar todos los descuentos que existen en todo y ya viene la inflación. Así que ahí lo tienen enfrente de todos ustedes. Y por supuesto, esto es negativo y continúo con cómo veo el mercado, que a fin de año, principio del próximo, vamos a estar en una recesión declarada. Pero por ahora, este cuarto debería ser, las entregas del segundo cuarto del año, todo debería ser muy positivo simplemente por la creación de demanda artificial que hicieron a través de meterle miedo a todo el mundo, que la inflación venía. Está cabrón, ¿no? Como la gente sigue cayendo en las mismas malas. Pero, sin más ni más, damas y caballeros, los quiero invitar a que nos caigan por acá. ¿Por qué no? Sí, y vamos a empezar con lo del casino del tío Salo. Vamos ahorita a ver Bitcoin. Vamos a hacer una lana esta semana. Estoy dispuesto, estoy puesto, estoy listo, estoy relajado. Tal vez no ahorita a las 3:30 de la mañana y mi mujer me quiere asesinar, pero estoy listo, estoy puesto y los invito, si quieren unirse a nuestro Discord, ahí tienen el enlace en la parte de abajo de esta pantalla. ¿Cómo están, my boys? Ahí tiene el enlace en la parte de abajo de esta pantalla, ahí lo tienen, súper fácil de usar, por cierto. Toda a la izquierda es nuestro menú, aquí lo tienen. Aquí está los análisis de Farhan, los de Alex, toda a la izquierda lo pueden ver por acá. Y chat general, ¿cómo están? Buenos días. Solo vine a ver si alguien nos estaba compartiendo más o menos manguitos ricos, pero nadie lo hizo. Gracias por ello. Vengan a caer si necesitan checarlo de criptolingo. Si hay algo que no entiendan en estos videos, aquí lo tienen. Todas las traducciones en inglés y en español también, de el pequeño lingo que usamos, ¿no? Que nos hace sonar tan inteligentes, pero en realidad somos tontos por no saber simplificar las cosas. También tenemos, cabrón, las ganancias de todo el mundo por acá. Aquí está Tomatito, por supuesto, con un 1000% de ganancias, porque ¿por qué no? Voy a chingar a mi madre. Tomatito es mejor trader que Nancy Pelosi. A este punto, Nancy Pelosi estoy seguro que usa a Tomatito como para copiar todos sus trades. ¿Qué está pasando? No mamen. Bien, oigan, obviamente me da muchísimo gusto verlos ganar rico y tan delicioso. Así que muchas felicidades a todos ustedes y vamos a seguir dándole. Ahorita Alex Farhan trae el dedo en el pulso del mercado delicioso y son los mejores tiempos para aprovechar esto y de verdad hacer la mayor cantidad de dinero posible. Aquí tienen todos nuestros enlaces oficiales, aunque también los tienen aquí en la descripción de abajo. Ahorita se los pongo en X. Y pues vamos sin más ni más a darle. Lo único que sí es, si ustedes están viendo esto y tienen curiosidad de tradear futuros, cáiganle a nuestro sitio. Esto también es absolutamente gratis y aquí van a tener tutos, le van a picar a tutos. No es italiano, es tutoriales, ¿ok? Y aquí le van a picar cómo tradear en bluffing. ¿Cómo tradeas en bluffing? Aquí tienes un video de 5 minutitos, te lo avientas en putiza y aquí abajo tienes el enlace a la página y con eso vas a ver cómo fondear la cuenta, cómo transferir tu dinero dentro del exchange, cómo usar el exchange perfectamente y cómo navegarlo. Y esto es bluffing, criptomonedas. También tenemos BTCC aquí abajo que tiene acciones por aquellos curiosos que les gusta también perder dinero con acciones, no solamente en cripto. Sin más ni más, aquí tengo a estos galanes. Vámonos, Alex Farhan. Good morning, my boys.
Yo, what up, boys?
Let us kill this Bitcoin analysis. I need to turn off the lights as soon as possible. So let's wait. Why is Alex the only one on screen? That's not right. I know you're the best looking one of the group, but that's not right. Okay, let's fucking share the screen time with us, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's too early. Too early for the
Look, I'm muted.
It is. Yes, you are.
What I said was, what do you expect from a gringo other than to steal all the screen time, right? All the real estate.
They take everything. They took our jobs. Let's go. Let's get it. What do you see on that Bitcoin?
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so Bitcoin was interesting last night in the sense that, we were, to me, it seems like we're on the verge of a major move simply just based on where we're at and where BBWP is. We had an interesting monthly as well. If you go and view this, it's kind of like a neutral. It's like, yeah, it looks bullish. But then when you actually have the HPD, you start actually kind of opening a different picture here, which is, it basically lost the 38.2%, the bottom of it, shifted up. The median has gone all the way up now dramatically to $151,000. Now, the hopium and the silver lining is that bulls did close the monthly above 100K, which is really good. But when you start viewing this chart, and I know my chart has a lot of stuff happening. Let me just, I'll extend this out. There we go. You're basically now in bearish retest mode. And I mean, just per the HPDR, this has potential to go down, especially specifically when you see that monthly is actually starting to fire off now and confirmed. We see here it ever so slightly went under 15%. Generally, when BBWP goes under 15%, this brews a volatility setup, and that's why volatility is direction neutral, but then we can start dissecting things in the chart here based on that close and really see if this is on the verge of a breakout or a breakdown. And in my opinion, this looks more bearish than not, or at very minimum being able to retest around that 95.5. If you notice here, we basically broke out from 95.5 and we've yet to retest that zone. It's kind of like the same posturing we've had all of last week, essentially. If this is going to be the spot where we're going to reject this, this is going to be kind of like the zone we're into this week. bears are going to flex and we're going to start moving down pretty aggressively, in my opinion. Now on the flip side, if bulls actually, you know, kind of consolidate and hold this zone, you know, that could be a recipe for a breakout. Let's go to the 2-week now. So bulls are going to be looking at this as potentially a 2-week bull flag. And that's why this support zone that we have is extremely crucial. You know, basically, if we start losing 103s, that's going to be the first big sign that we actually may start seeing that move under 100K. And then, in my opinion, there's just two spots. It's either going to be 99.8 or 95.5. For me right now, I'm still in the camp that if we lose 103s, 98.98 is still a logical region to be gauging. You know, sitting right there is right around the weekly 9. You have support. For me, that's a big zone. You also see, you know, within this region around 99.8 to like 95.5, 95.6, Bitcoin was ranging there before we actually had the big move down. Now we had these, you know, breakouts that couldn't hold, but really once we started to lose 95.5, that was the spark of a really big move down. So for me, if we're going to be on the camp that Bitcoin's bullish and we're going to see 114,000, it's kind of like bulls need this to hold. And so far they have been. I mean, on a wick basis, it's not looking the absolute worst, but that's also why it's going to be really crucial for us to actually hold support here. If we don't hold support, in my opinion, Bitcoin at minimum is going to go to 99.8, test where the weekly 9 is, and possibly even move down closer to 21 even, which is now at 94,700. Let me 1 second. Let me text my sister. I hear the dog. It's very annoying.
Well, I'm going to throw some filler in here. Hola, ¿qué tal? Muy buenas tardes. En lo que Alex está haciendo lo que está haciendo, esta voz está para relajarlos sensualmente. Así es, damas y caballeros, denle un segundo para ver qué es lo que está ocurriendo. Estamos viendo el precio de Bitcoin. Y bastante sencillo, si rompemos ahorita este soporte, básicamente los 104,246 para abajo, nuestro siguiente objetivo debería ser ese EMA 9 que tiene en la semanal en los 100,225, y de perder eso, pues habría más fiesta para abajo. Por ahora está aguantando en soporte. Pueden ver que ven una tendencia alcista y de vuelta con Alex. Done.
Nice. Yeah, sorry about that. Very annoying. Okay, cool. So this is why this spot's very crucial. Now, this is the monthly, the weekly, the 2 week. So, you know, it's going to take more time, obviously, but that's why it's very interesting for me when we get a monthly and it's in the posturing of like bearish retest. Now, last night on my phone, you know, I'm just sitting in bed trying to look at the last time we actually broke the bottom of the 38.2%, and then retested it. There really hasn't been that many occurrences. Let's go and check that out. So you can see here, you know, we lost it and then quickly reclaimed it. You know, the only real example was where we lost it and then retested it here before, well, collapsing all the way down to $15,000. You know, even on these moves down, you did move down, of course, but you kind of grinded out a bottom here, consolidated, and then reclaimed it only a few months later. Another, you know, example is this one where you actually lost it, you pumped up to reclaim it, nice little trap move, and also went up 33% on the month, and then you quickly got lost. That, you know, essentially opened back up under the 38.2%, quickly put in that bearish retest before going down. From that point, 31%. Let me check this too. So yeah, in my opinion, it could even be that scenario that we just mapped is kind of like more like the one we're at now. Because if you know we lost it, we reclaimed it like last month, and then here it rose up and then just retested it before going down. And you can see from that move where we retested it here, Bitcoin did end up going down. for the culture, 69%. So, you know, that's just when I'm holding longs last night and I see that, and I'll go over the daily as well, which is kind of concerning. For me, it just makes more sense to be cautious up here. You know, we know the levels. 103 did get the bounce, which was nice. We wanted that. Oh, well. We wanted 103s to bounce. It did bounce, but, you know, I'm just not liking the fact that we're just rejecting the daily 9 off first half, essentially. And when you have the HBDR, no matter how you look at it, it's in a breakdown. Like even on the daily now, we are under the 38.2%. So if you're longing here, it's like it's slightly aggressive it's very aggressive in my head, because it's like all the other things I'm looking at are telling me, yeah, this is also breaking down, like on the monthly and the daily. And now what we're seeing is volatility is, well, now starting to really expand. We ever so slightly did reset it here. I like moves like that where you just reset and then quickly go up. I feel like it leaves a lot of people off sides. And for me, it's starting to expand to the downside. Now, when you go to the 12-hour, you know, the 12-hour is in a breakdown. You lost support. You're now putting in a bearish retest, logically, where the meme lines are, but then also the 38.2%. And now what you're seeing is you've actually rejected pretty aggressively that 34. Not you lost the 9, so this is going to be looked at as a trap move. So in theory, Bitcoin should not go back up around here. And yes, you could easily go and test the 12-hour 9 per just how the trigger goes. But how it stands, I mean, this has a measured move for me at very minimum down to 100,200 or right 99.8. You know, it can even go to 98,500. This is going to be, in my opinion, the move bulls are going to be looking for today, tomorrow, and the next day. If bears, not bulls. Huh, bulls don't want that. Bulls want this, right? If we can get this, you know, this actually then starts shifting that median down, puts us back within the blue zone, starts resetting volatility. Okay, that'll be bullish. But until then, this has all the momentum now, in my opinion, to go down. Lose 103s, capitulate down to 99.8s. The 12-hour EMA 100 is primed up for that, specifically too with the weekly 9 right around that 100K 99.8. To me, it seems like we now have all the major moving averages we want to see right around 99.8, kind of solidifying that for me that we at least should see some kind of bounce. You know, that could either look like, okay, we hit it, we spring up, we then flip this support into resistance, lower high, and then go down to the 95s. And then there is where, in my opinion, bulls need to step in quickly and get a big bounce, or they're going to really run the risk of us actually going all the way back down closer to that weekly 34, which was, you know, currently right around $89,000. So it's going to be a pretty big week for bulls and bears. Bulls are going to be trying to hold this and pump us out of this, you know, basically just calling this a weekly higher low and trying to move up. Bears are actually going to be aggressively trying to nuke us down now. You know, and this week they're going to try to really like locally put in the top, the monthly high, and then start moving down. Let me see. I think the 15-day closed. No, but we do have here the median rejection as well, just kind of solidifying the range we're in and how important it is for either bears to reject us from here or bulls to really pump us. You can see here, it's either when you have this 15-day chart, it is interesting because what you have is low volatility. It's about to do a move in the sense that you're about to get back above the moving average. Generally, when that happens, you can then start making your way to 15%. Ideally, that's when your setup's firing off. Oh well, let me go here. This 15 day is very interesting because when you're looking at it, it's kind of like this is this kind of sums up what markets want as a whole, right? Bears want the aggressive move all the way down to like 84s, 85.5s again. Bulls want the aggressive move up to like 125s to 138s. This is an interesting chart because now you have the median right at the like resistance or the top of the range that we're kind of in here. What you can notice too is this 15-day 9 would be at 95.8. So there's a lot of things for me right now on Bitcoin pointing to very bearish, and very bearish meaning at least a proper pullback. Something we mentioned last week was that, yeah, Bitcoin's been going down, but we really haven't seen that volatility to the downside. Really, I mean, it's been pretty just calculated, chop, little range, move up. And then, yes, the downside move where everyone's bearish now, but this really hasn't done enough. It's only really gone down 8% so far. I think for everyone to really get bearish, we'll need to actually break under 100K and test closer to 98.9 to 99,000. That to me would be a good level to start either looking for longs again, because we tried to long this and we did. But last night I just had to cover all longs. Just wasn't feeling good about kind of what price was looking like. I think even on the 4 hour here, you're just in a breakdown now. So while people on New York Open are going to try to be longing, calling this for trend, I'm calling this with just as little data and just meme lines as I have, this is a breakdown. You're taking out this last low. This is looking primed to at minimum go to 103s. And then there you're either going to bigly bounce. Bulls are going to really use it as a spring. They're going to say that we haven't really tapped that officially. So that'll be the first tap of the extremity low support, ideally moving this up. Or this is, just the start of a major move down. Next target 99.8. So let's look at Bitcoin. Let's look at Tether dominance, because Tether dominance is interesting too. In the sense that, to me, it looks like it also wants to do a nice busting action move. You are now daily in breakout. So, like, see my point? Like, when you're like longing Bitcoin and you start seeing, well, no, the daily's in a breakdown. The monthly looks like it put in a bearish retest. Monthly volatility is expanding. Daily volatility is reset. So, is this like the domino effect move loading? On top of it, we identified, I forgot where it was, some channel here on Tether dominance last stream that did end up breaking out, and now what you're having is just a perfect throwback of support, 4.69%, right? And even the HBDR is confirming that. Daily 9's about to cross the 21. It's really hard to be aggressively long, and so when we got the closure last night, that really is what made me kind of flip my bias. It just made me uncomfortable because it just seems like at least very minimum this wants to go up to like the 4.9%, the daily EMA 100. From that breakdown, we haven't really tested it yet, so they should be looked at as resistance, but I mean that's still a 2% move. So at very minimum, bears, I believe, have the upper hand this week. They're either going to just make that move up to the 4.9%, bigly reject, deviate 4.69%, start making your move down to 3.96, or this is going to reclaim the daily EMA 100. Once that is done, we can start being really aggressive with shorts, because I love when a daily EMA 100 gets reclaimed. When that occurs often, you get the expansion moves from. If this were to occur, the expansion move for me would be 5.24, being the next big point. That would be a 7% move, and that most likely would mean that Bitcoin is going down to that 95.5. So that daily EMA 100 for Tether dominance, like I always mention, is going to be really important. Here you see a volatility setup on the daily is now freshly firing off. So again, this week bears do have the momentum on Bitcoin to at least dump us. And if we break down, great. If we don't, awesome. People like me who are short here, are going to round trip, and that's just going to be the name of the game. Kind of like what happened here, right? We didn't short too aggressively down here, but when you're shorting the extremities, thinking, okay, cool, we're going to get this now. It's finally happening, and each time you tap support, it just keeps getting bought up. That's how I know, or at least that's a big sign for me, where I have to ask myself, are we baiting shorts? Because then you ever so slightly put in bullish structure, and that's what it's kind of always my tell sign. For now, not really yet. We'll know soon though. So like if the daily today doesn't take this low out, not today, but in the next day or two, doesn't take this low out, but rather leaves just kind of like a wick here, starts reclaiming the daily 9, dumps down, tests this, uses this as a spring, and then moves up. Yeah, it's just gonna start looking like we're just kind of consolidating above resistance. But lower time frames to me, specifically the 12-hour, giving me confidence that today could get kind of ugly. So I'd be very cautious on longs. We know where to long. Longing is very simple. We can long once the daily 9's reclaimed. That strategy worked out marvelously well for bulls. Okay, let's close longs. Oh, cool, we reclaimed it. Really nice busting action move here, and then lost the 9, reclaimed it. Let's long some corn, and then you had a nice busting action move. So there's no reason to have any kind of FOMO on longs. I know we were bullish. We did it well. I did close those longs in slight profit. It's better to, and we don't always have to be in a trade. It's always better to kind of be cautious than trying to aggressively long a breakout. For me now, we know the zones. We need basically 104.1 to hold as resistance. If that does occur in the lower time frames, bears will have more of a advantage to go down to 103s. There you need to absolutely hold. If that doesn't hold, just per how I look at the EMAs, you're going to have a move to the 96,000 to 95.5. There's the last stand for bulls to absolutely hold. And even losing 99.8 will start making me cautious. We basically need, if you're bullish and you want to long 95.5s, excuse me, you need either this to happen, aggressive dump, shallow mean reversion on lower time frames, big dump here, and then this needs to spring. But not even kidding. Like, it just needs to be very quickly up again. And why would that be? Well, because you need to get back above the weekly 9. If we're going to be in a bull market, bullish AF, there's, in my book, no reason why that weekly 9 should get lost on a closing basis. We did not see that occur really during this entire move up, when we went from 61,000 all the way up to 100K. And then even here, when we went from 28,000 all the way up to 72, you did not see that weekly 9 get lost. Really, when you start losing the weekly 9, doesn't mean it's a death sentence you're about to dump, but that definitely can mean you're going to get maybe a lower high, maybe some chop, and moves down. And that's the kind of indication that we want to be aware of. So it's like 99.8 is going to hold. Weekly 9 holds the final retest, which should be a big one because we haven't tested it since we broke out. And we've said this on stream. Like, when we do get this weekly 9 actual move, this is going to get everyone bearish, unfortunately. And then, we're just going to look at it like, well, no, we just, are flipping what was resistance into support. And that's why it makes sense if we are going to lose 99.8, not on a weekly, but maybe like on a daily, on a 12-hour, this has to just quickly spring down and then up. And then you're quickly leaving like maybe like this kind of wick, right? But it instead is green and actually is above the 9. So yeah, that's all I have really on Bitcoin land. I guess I should look at Bitcoin dominance. Let me do that real quick. What chart was that? Interesting. So like the weekly event, this is interesting. Breakdown, SFP got back above basically the breakdown meme channel. And now you're kind of just like, ideally you need to hold 4.69% this week. You don't want to reject the 4.91%. You have a major cluster of moving averages, either going to, be very strong and quickly reject you, or this is just going to be a trap. Too many shorts are going to try to play that, and instead you're going to make your move all the way back up here to that EMA 100. Either going to break out from that point or come down, and then you'll be like in a channel again. Visually, you can kind of like see that. So that's interesting to see, actually. So I didn't see that on the weekly. And let's see the monthly. I don't think I even did the higher time frames on Tether dominance. How unprofessional. And so you get this kind of formation on Tether dominance. Chop up, chop up, chop up, dump. Chop up, up, question mark, chop, down, dump. I don't know. But it's, I mean, just very typical. It's almost like a just bear flag on the monthly. It likes to bear flag and then goes down. That's what you could be in the process of, or at least very minimum. Again, this is why I'm saying that I think this week bears have the upper hand, or they should be, right? If they don't, that'll be a great sign of strength for me going into the next going into the second week of now June. Is if Bitcoin actually holds at 103s and just consolidates. But why I believe too, even that we should be kind of cautious here is, okay, we held 4.69%. We did lose the monthly 9. So how we're going to be trying to look at this is a bearish retest or reclaim. And that's good. That's going to be really important. Where that monthly 9 comes right around is the 4.9%. That's lining up perfectly with what we were seeing on the lower time frames, which was it seemed to me like Tether dominance at minimum wants to go to 4.9%. Again, not the biggest move, but still just kind of plays into the environment we're in on going into this month. And we now have clear levels, which is if the monthly 9 starts getting reclaimed, it'll be a great sign. But if we start really rejecting hard from here, losing 4.69%, yeah, that really could be a recipe for a really big move on Bitcoin, a 26% move potentially. And where do bulls win? Well, if we actually go up on the monthly and simply here get monthly closures, in my opinion, back above 5.21%. Conservatively, you'll want, if you don't want to be aggressive and just you want to know exactly when we're going to really bust up on Tether dominance, it's really monthlies back above 6.5. You get monthlies back above 6.5. That's when you really start seeing a major move up here, going possibly all the way to 7.8%. But that hasn't happened yet, and rather this is even looking like it could break down if bulls don't step up this month. So that's all I have on crypto land. It's looking good. It's looking like we're gonna get some volatility this week, up or down, which will be fun.
Alrighty,
Mr. Fargan,
fellas.
please share El Charto.
Let us go to Bitcoin. Hey, we having? No, I gotta put some work into it. Are we having fun with your Bitcoin? Is it at least getting better?
That dude on Twitter is not.
Buddy went from $3 million to $100 million to $23.
Not bad. Not bad.
When he was up 87 million, he's like, this is barely enough to buy a super yacht, and people are calling it generational wealth. Well, pretty sure $23 is not generational wealth.
Well, and also you cannot buy a super burrito from the places that I get them. Those are $35.
Went from super yacht to super burrito to Taco Bell burrito.
I think I read something. He sold some altcoin he was holding for $1 million profit. Then I think an hour later I read that he was 500K long, and then that was last night. So again, markets punished him.
No way.
This guy just won't learn his lesson. Watch when he
is he a real person?
Yeah. I think so.
Huh?
But he made all of his money off of some shit coin. So easy come, easy go.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. You also get cocky, dude. Like even myself, when I'm like 5 trades in a row, like green, I'm like, fuck yeah, I can't do no wrong. And then I lose everything.
Yeah, that's when you're supposed to step away.
Exactly.
That's when you leave the casino.
I know. Well, you live and you learn, sir. I'm only 40 years old.
But what was I saying? Yeah, whatever. Oh, it must have not been important. So the quarterly on Bitcoin is currently still over that median, with momentum pointed freshly to the upside and volatility coming to 0%. And the last time momentum freshly flipped to the upside was all the way back here in late 2023, whenever we had our initial busting action from the 20s all the way up to the $70,000 area. But look how high volatility was at that point. We're so much lower on volatility right now that it's insane. We're in the extreme lows, where back then we were in the extreme high areas on volatility. And we did several X's on price while volatility was in the extreme highs. Is it very unreasonable to see a 40 to 50% move while volatility is at extreme lows? Not really. Monthly is now currently flipped down on momentum, but same idea as we saw on the previous candle of April, where it was momentarily flipped down, and then before it closed, it flipped back to the upside. The same idea as I'm expecting now. And what that would do is if it flips back to the upside before the monthly close, is we went below all of these lows on momentum, while putting in a higher low on price, giving you hidden bullish divergence on the monthly. And that's pretty significant. And now volatility is expanding to the upside. So once momentum starts flipping up, this is going to be pretty wild to the upside. Right now, resistance is this bottom 38.2%, which is at around $105,986. And as long as we are below there, probabilities are higher than not that we're going to come down to retest that $99,000 area. 2 week is also giving us a nice little rejection of this meme line. Failed to break this high of around 111,965. But momentum is still pointed strongly to the upside while volatility approaches extreme lows. And the jewel has given us a fresh buy signal, putting in hidden bullish divergence from this previous low over here, giving you a minimum target of hitting your current all-time highs after a nice little retest of maybe this 9 EMA right around $99,000. Weekly is also getting momentum flipping to the downside, getting below the moving average while volatility contracts, telling you it's likely going to be a higher low. And we've got a loss of about 38.2%. Should give us a nice retest of somewhere around this 9 EMA, which is at that 100,000 ish dollar area. Maybe a little bit lower, it's the 99s. This piece of shit Bitcoin front ran my short order by $50. Put it at 104,550 and it topped at 104,500. Just the way it goes. The 5 day is also freshly flipping down on momentum and volatility, telling you it's likely going to be a higher low. 5 day is very close to firing off a buy signal on a jewel, with the pink crossing above the yellow. Right now, I am looking for, once this $104,000 area gets lost, to get a nice little test of the median, which is that $99,000 area, and I do kind of expect some up only action off of this low, and I expect some explosive up only action off of this low. 2 days giving us a nice close below this 9 EMA, 2 retests and rejections. And as long as we are rejecting the 9 EMA, probabilities are greater than not that we're going to come down to the 21, which is at about 101,000. And momentum is pointed nicely to the downside, very close to the bearish control zone with volatility support. Daily has gotten a close below the 38.2%, nice little retest and a rejection, and now we're losing our 9, 5, and the 21 EMA, giving us a nice little target of hitting the 55, which sits right around $99,800. Very beautiful number. While momentum is freshly flipping down on the daily back into the bearish control zone with volatility support to the expansion. And we look at the jewel giving us an amazing sell signal with the pink crossing below the yellow, dark blue crossing below everything else. 4 hours currently also flipped to the downside. Volatility is currently contracting, but if we continue to close below the median, and especially below this low here at about 103,820, volatility is likely going to start expanding, and that's going to start a pretty nice little bouncy tonight to first around 100,000 area, then to about 99.8. Right now, we are still heavily below that median. Our current top is somewhere right here on the index. It's 590. I wish it went to 590 on Bluffin, but it did not. It went to 500. Very nice, very beautiful. Very, very fuck you like. And let's switch down a little bit. 2 hour now has a 9 crossing down the 21, which is a short-term trend flipping strongly to the downside. And they're all bunched up together as well, which makes it even more strong, telling you that this 5 EMA is likely going to be resistance at about $104,200-ish dollars. Right now, momentum is strongly pointed in the bearish control zone while volatility is still expanding. Maybe on the low time frames, you're keyed for a bounce. Probably not that much, to be honest. On the hourly, you're getting a fresh silver cross to the downside. You're getting an amazing silver cross, but they're all bunched up together, telling you that you're probably not going to get anywhere above this 9. And the 9 was perfect resistance off of this previous one, which would have been amazing if I got filled, because this immediately turned into a shooting star candle after tapping that 104,500 area. So salty about that. And right now,
Wait,
this 5 is
is your 9 on 104,300?
yeah,
Okay. Sorry. Just making sure.
very, 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 very salty about that. Right now, we got our silver cross on the hourly. I mean, not silver cross, jewel signal on the hourly with the pink crossing below the yellow. Not happening quite as high as we'd like, but still above the bearish control zone. So it still should give us a nice little move. And as long as we are below that 9 EMA, this silver cross is going to lead to more dumpski. 30-minute is still heavy downtrend, also has a silver cross, but momentum is trying to flip up. Makes sense that we've got to move to the 38.2%. As long as we are projecting that 38.2%, though, it is going to be bearish. Once we get over that 38.2%, that's when you see a move higher to retest this wick somewhere around 104s. And once you can close over this wick, which is our last major lower high, that's when you can retest these highs up here. So we're going to do some degenerate timeframes today. 15-minute is also flipping back up on momentum, very close, while volatility is approaching 0%, sitting at 4.89%. Extreme lows. While momentum is able to flip up, this is telling you that probably more likely than not that you're going to get some, at the very least, a test of one of these levels, if not a reversal. That's interesting. Five-minute is also flipped freshly to the downside with volatility support. We still can't lose this 21 EMA after deviating it. So as long as we do close over that 21 EMA, we probably will refill this wick somewhere around that 104,400-ish dollar area. Why won't it? I'm gonna do this. We're gonna next we'll do the 1 second chart. Let's give it 10 seconds, see if we can close over that 200. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nuke.
Oh, interesting. We are very, very close to getting that silver cross to the upside, getting right at that 200. Let me just quickly close my long. I mean, not my long, my short. Alrighty. Now let's switch to the RSI. Currently have active hidden bearish divergence on the low time frames on Bitcoin on the RSI. It is going to be active as long as you're closing below $105,863. And your next move is into the simple moving average, which right now sits at about 102,761. 2 hour currently has 3 drives of bearish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing below about $104,500. And let's see on what is the bullish critical zone? It is at about $111,000. So you can get a close over about 105, 550. I was originally going to say 106s, but you can bring it down to 105, 550. A 2-hour close above there, then you should get a move back to your current all-time highs at 111s. A little bit. Hourly also has fresh bearish divergence, many drives of fresh bearish divergence with volatility expansion and that silver cross. I mean that jewel cross, getting a little bit of a bounce here. So you could see the edge of the bearish control zone, which is at about 104,400, is going to be strong resistance, and you're probably going to get a test of this critical zone at about 103. Okay. 15-minute has fresh hidden bearish divergence that you just put in. Very interesting. And it will be active as long as you're closing below about, which number is it? This one here, $104,500. And your next move is into the what do you call it? The critical zone and the simple moving average, which right now sits at about $101,000-ish, right around $101,000, $100,000. Now let's go into a little bit of more time, degenerate time frame. I want to get the low time frame idea. And 5-minute has put in regular bullish divergence, which very likely has been played out considering we've come all the way up to test this cluster of VMAs. And now we're very close to invalidating it. And we will invalidate it with a close below about 103,863. Alrighty. Now we go to Tether. Tether currently still has active 3 drives of bearish divergence, and it's going to be active as long as you're closing below 5.85%, and your next move is into about 3.58%. Keep that number in the back of your mind. Monthly currently has confirmed a drive of hidden bearish divergence, which is what we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. And it's going to be active as long as you're closing below 6.24%. And your easy target is this 100, right around that 3.5-ish number. You remember that 3.58%? Very interesting. Comes right back up. And your target from this divergence is your simple moving average, right about 3.76%. Very close to that number. Weekly has fresh drive of bearish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing below about 4.83%. And your next move is into the bearish control zone at 3.47%. Perfectly at that monthly 100. 5-day has fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence, making it very likely, and a close over the 5 EMA, making it very likely we're going to get a move into testing this silver cross somewhere around that 4.9-ish% area. And if you remember our targets of 4.8% on Tether, they have been hit. Very cool, very nice. Just as how Moon Carl says, exactly as predicted.
Moon Carl, my God, what a reference.
But he says predicted. People say predicted to make fun of him.
Of course.
Daily
I
has
saw that.
fresh drive.
I'm sorry, I
Sorry?
need to make a parenthesis. I saw that dude on the street. I'd kick him just because he looks like a kick me type of guy. I don't know why. So good for him for being super rich, but man, he does deserve a kick.
Oh, he looks like you could easily bully him for his lunch money.
Absolutely. He's like, I've got my
I've seen
new
him in
Bugatti.
person.
I was like, dude, even if you had 30 of these, it still doesn't look right. It looks like you should still, like, this doesn't fit in right. It's not correct.
Something's not working here.
Yeah, the matrix is broken. Something is wrong.
It was funny. He came to crypto fight night when I went to go watch Crown fight, and he was one of their title guests. So they brought him in. He didn't want to talk to anybody. He went up all the way up and just sat by himself and was just doing nothing, and then just left after like 30 minutes.
Why even go?
Yeah, right. Why even go unless they paid him to show up?
And then they paid him to show up and not do anything?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. Fucking well, but weirder things have happened.
The weirder thing, I mean, not weird, but the even more sad part is that the majority of people make fun of him online. So I know for a fact that people who were standing in line to want a picture with him were people that make fun of him online. Like, come on, bro. Why do you want a picture with somebody you make fun of?
And also, why would you want a picture with Moon Carl? Like, that sounds so stupid. Babe, I took a picture with Moon Carl. She'd be like, get out of my
I'm
house.
I'm
Get
filing
out.
the papers right now. Divorce this asshole. Daily is now also heading to the idea that we probably get a little bit of a pullback on crypto. I mean, not crypto, on Tether, because we have hidden bearish divergence confirmed with volatility expansion and what do you call it? That this dual setup is very likely to be invalidated as soon as we get a close below this low here at about 4.69%. Otherwise, we will invalidate that hidden bearish divergence, and we're probably going to get a nice little pump scale on Tether. Let's go a little bit lower. 4 hours not giving a volatility setup. That's going to be more relevant in the volatility chart. I mean, in the momentum chart. And now 2 hour has many drives of bullish divergence. 3 drives currently going to be active as long as you're closing above 4.78%. And if you can close over 4.78%, you should see a move into somewhere around 4.83%. Let's go to Bitcoin. Two-hour on Bitcoin has many drives of bearish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing below about $104,500. And your next move is into about, that's 102. And now we'll go into the momentum chart after this one. Four-hour currently has momentum freshly to the downside, rejecting the bullish control zone, while and you're going to be pointed down below $104,500. 2 hours freshly to the downside, and it's going to be pointed down below 104,007 or $800 with a double drip of death. Last time you had a double drip of death, you went down pretty nicely. Hourly also has momentum freshly flipped to the downside, and it's going to be pointed down below about $104,200, let's say. 30-minute is only one that's flipped up, and it's getting volatility contraction, making it a lot more likely that you're probably just going to get a lower high. And that would be about 104.5. So if you can get over 104.5, you very likely will get a retest of somewhere around 104,000, like 858. You're still bearish as long as you're below 105, 816. Ready? Let's go to 15-minute is also pointed to the upside above 103.915. Basically, all of your low time frames are pointed up. 5-minute is pointed up. All screaming bearish retest. 1 hour is about to start flipping up in about 30 minutes as well. It's very likely this volatility starts contracting, giving you a move into that silver cross. And as long as you're below this wick low, it's still safe to short anywhere in this area. I mean, this is probably going to be a gift if you get this move to short, because then your invalidation is going to be like 1% away versus 99,800, somewhere like 4.5 to 5% away. So it's like 4.5 to 5 to 1 odds. Pretty good. And we're about to get a nice little retest of this 200. Now let's go to Tether on the low time frames. Whereas Tether is freshly flipping up on the low time frames with momentum about to flip up as long as we close over 4.74%, which we are above right now, and volatility sitting at literally 0%. Recipe for some nice busting action, especially since we have several closures over this 200 SMA. And we have now closures over the 200 and basing off of the 200. Likely is going to send us up probably a little bit higher to retest this 4.9-ish% area. Oh, my computer's about to die. Let me plug it in real quick. There we go. 2 hours also freshly flipped to the upside, and it will remain up as long as you're closing above about 4.73%. Hourly is also freshly to the upside, and it will remain up as long as you're above 4.77%. 30-minute, however, is currently flipped down. It's about to retest right around the edge of the critical zone, and it's going to be flipped down below 4.78%. 15-minute is right at the edge, right at the around the pivot. If it can manage to go up 0.01%, it will flip up on the very low time frames, likely leading to the 4-hour continuing to flip up. Oh, now it's down. Now let's focus on the higher time frames. Daily still remains to the upside as long as you're over 4.55% with a volatility setup, telling you you're likely going to go a little bit higher on Tether, which coincides with a little bit lower on Bitcoin. Today is also giving you a volatility setup with 2 periods of 0% on volatility, and momentum is freshly pointed to the upside, about to exit the bearish control zone as long as you're below 4.44%. 5 days, very close to freshly flipping to the upside, and it will flip up with a derp of life if it goes over 4.58%. Likely brings you into that silver cross right around 4.9s. Weekly is currently heavily positioned to the downside with volatility very close to confirming an expansion, and it will be pointed down below 5.37%. 2-week is also freshly to the downside, and it will be pointed down below 5.63%. Monthly is still positioned to the upside, which is interesting. Didn't do what I thought it was going to do. But where are we on the momentum? Oh, we're still in the area where we could approach the edge of the bearish control zone. So I guess I front ran it a little bit. The projection is on the next one to be at the edge of the bearish control zone. So as of this moment, momentum is still pointed to the upside, but it has not gotten to the edge of the bearish control zone just yet. Whenever it does get to that edge of the bearish control zone is where we're going to want to see this pivot go up if we're going to be bullish on crypto. We did get the close that we were looking for, though. Oh, fuck. The close that we were looking for below that, come on, below that cluster of VMAs. which by EMA rules should give you a move into the 100. 2 week is also giving you a nice volatility setup on Tether, with momentum freshly flipping to the downside below 5.63%. Okay, now let's go into Bitcoin. Momentum on the quarterly on Bitcoin has never flipped down since about 2023 and just remained to the upside. We went below the pivot a few times, but couldn't close below it and kept momentum to the upside with volatility expansion from the lowest level in Bitcoin history, and it's going to be pointed up above $95,200. Monthly is now freshly flipped up on this last monthly close with volatility expansion confirmed above the 15%. And this has a 100% hit rate of playing out to whatever direction momentum is in. And momentum is currently pointed up above 100, as long as you're closing over $103,800. So statistically, we should see some nice busting action from here. And we're basing on nicely right on that meme line. I'm curious. Let's just draw a mini, some high to low. Bring this to around $130,000. Next level is 165, and then 200K. There's a dude who I very, very, very highly respect named Figo Swanee who is saying 200K by the end of the year. Maybe he's right, just against my bias, so I don't know.
Is he related to Kathy Wood?
Maybe.
We'll keep an eye on it.
2 week is also giving that volatility setup on Bitcoin, getting just over that moving average, I believe. Yeah, just slightly over the moving average, while momentum is freshly flipped to the upside, rejecting getting out of the bullish control zone and going to be pointed up above $92,500. Weekly is also positioned to the upside with volatility expansion, and it will be pointed up above $96,800. 5 days, 5 days currently freshly flipped to the downside, and it will just about to get volatility contraction, and it will remain to the downside below $111,200, which, as long as we're over the 5 EMA, not really cause for concern. Once you lose the 5 EMA, that's when you get a nice little move down to somewhere around $99,000 to $100,000. 2 days also nicely flipped down with volatility contracted all the way down to 2%, and you're just about to test the edge of the bullish control zone, and you're pointing down below 11,000. Daily is now giving you a volatility setup with momentum pointed to the downside and a derp of life, and you are pointed down below $108,800, making it a lot more likely you're going to come down to that $100,000 area. And your first stop within daily would be, what do you know, right around $99,800 for that 55 EMA. Let's to 4 hour. And wow, very beautiful. 4 hour momentum is freshly flipping to the downside, rejecting getting out of the getting into the bullish control zone, and we have a volatility setup at the moment, making it a lot more likely this momentum to the down is going to play out to the downside. Let's see, the last time we had a volatility set up on the 4 hour was right over here, and it played out to the downside. How much of a move roughly down did we get? Let's see. Let's do it from here. It's about 5% down. So let's take 5% down from, let's take it from this point here. Oh, wow, that's a very beautiful number. It's right at $99,800. My bias is so fit.
Mm.
No, let's get the summary. So on the high time frame, the Bitcoin remains extremely bullish with volatility expansion from the lowest level ever, and momentum remaining to the upside on the quarterly, never flipping down since around mid to late 2023. Monthly has now invalidated the bearish divergence, put in a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence. Monthly what do you call it? The stochastic is now freshly flipped to the upside with a volatility setup below the 15%, and that has a 100% hit rate of playing out to the upside over the next couple of months. Every single time frame from the monthly all the way down to the weekly is still now positioned to the upside. We do have the 5-day and the 2-day and the daily currently flipped to the downside, which likely does give you a little bit of a pullback on Bitcoin, whereas Tether is flipped to the upside. And that my pullback target is once you get below around $103,000, you should see a nice move to somewhere around $99,800, which I do think it's going to bounce strongly in that area and probably go to all-time highs from there. If you start to lose $99,800, that's when you get a test of 95,500. And the invalidation of all of the bullish bias is getting any daily close below about $94,000. That happens, then you're probably going to retest somewhere around 90, very likely 80s, and at that point, I'm going to be counting on a breakdown. Right now, I'm leaning towards the side of a slight little pullback to maybe somewhere around $99,800 as long as you're below 106. And I do expect that area to be bought up and bought up rather quickly. And we're very close, I believe, like a week away from the bull moon. So we probably get that bull when we get that bull moon is probably when crypto starts sending.
That is interesting, and that's also around. Hang on a second. Is my screen share? Yeah. That is interesting, and that's also around when we're going to get the next CPI rate, right, on the 11th, I believe. So interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, I think the bull moon is like around the 12th, something like that.
Damn. So it's all getting together at the same time. I guess also CPI could be like the last shakeout, and then afterwards bull moon effect, or maybe they'll kick in together. Let's see. Thank you, sir. Bitcoin, damas y caballeros. Se los voy a poner fácil también, porque no quiero despertar a mi mujer. Son las 4:30 todavía por donde estamos, y yo aquí en la sala como pendejo. Rápido, quiero que vean esto. En todas las temporalidades de alto, en temporalidades altas, esta es la trimestral, esto es alcista de amate, ¿no? Lo pueden ver, además de que tenés el cero de volatilidad más potente que ha tenido la tabla y continúa empujando para arriba. Estamos en el posible cierre trimestral más grande, más alto de toda la historia. El más alto que hemos tenido está en 93,000. Estamos en 104,700 en este momento. Así que muy, muy bien, muy alcista. Lo mismo podemos decir de la mensual. La mensual, después de haber barrido esa divergencia bajista de esta zona con esto, ahora está en posición más alta. Tuviste el cierre más alto mensual de toda la historia en Bitcoin en 104,500 y ahora estamos desarrollando la nueva vela que faltan 28 días y 10 horas para cerrar. Ante ello también tienes esto, tío. Un serve de volatilidad donde la volatilidad continúa empujando y lo puedes ver por acá. Esa volatilidad probablemente vaya a darnos continuación a la alza. 2 semanas, lo mismo, y puedes ver que también está preparando un setup de volatilidad. Recuerden, este es nuestro indicador, puedes agarrarlo acá, es BBWP es un indicador de volatilidad. Este es el 100%, este es el 0%, la línea de colores es volatilidad, la línea blanca es el promedio de volatilidad. Por debajo esta línea verde que yo puse ahí al 15%, estamos creando un setup de volatilidad como el que vimos antes acá, que nos llevó hasta arriba. Vamos a ver si nos da otro y va a ser igual. Así que en la de 2 semanas también se ve bastante alcista. Voy a poner el HPR. Y justo ahorita estamos simplemente teniendo este rechazo de la media, pero abrimos por encima de, al abrir por encima de, le da más bias a ser alcista. A esta vela todavía le faltan 6 días y 10 horas para cerrar. Y a nuestro gusto, este EMA 5 va a venir a ser testeado en esos $100,900. Y de ahí vamos a rebotar a la alza, es lo que estamos viendo por ahora. Semanal, estamos en la parte, llegamos a la parte casi del 78,6%, estamos respirando por acá. La parte alta de la zona azul son los 103,700, el promedio del 21 está en 95, Así que si somos alcistas, nos gustaría poder aguantar más o menos por acá y no barrer el mínimo del mínimo acá. O tal vez, no, deberías porque después de hacer recuerda, tienes alto, bajo, alto, bajo, alto, tienes que formar un nuevo bajo más alto para seguir la tendencia y es lo que estamos viendo. Ahora, momentum está del lado alcista en todas las temporalidades hasta que empiezas a tocarla de 5 días, 2 días, la diaria. Ahí es donde momentum está apuntando para abajo, diciéndonos que vamos a encontrar nuestro siguiente bajo más alto. ¿Y dónde lo podríamos hacer? Este debería ser como la zona límite de donde lo encontraremos, por ahí de los 99, los $100,000. Aquí, para darles la visual, deberíamos de ver esto y el precio dar continuación a la alza para las temporalidades más altas, entrar en efecto. Pero por ahora estás creando este alto, este mínimo, este alto, y ahora tienes que crear un mínimo más alto. Y tienes juego hasta, literalmente hasta acá abajo, ¿no? Entonces, por ahora, simplemente porque todas las temporalidades por encima de esta se ve tan alcista, no diríamos que vayamos a ver ese movimiento tan agresivo a la baja, pero sabemos dónde está la línea, básicamente, y es justo lo que vamos a poner atención en estos momentos. Vámonos a la diaria. En la diaria también tienes un setup de, un segundo, acabo de pintar, un setup de volatilidad justamente en este momento, y este setup de volatilidad te lo está dando a la baja, me parece. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Por qué tengo esto? Este es el tweet de ese imbécil que dijo que Why is this here? ¿Lo pueden ver? Sí.
Did you just
I,
copy and paste that?
I don't understand how, but okay, I'll take it. Crazy. Ese güey fue el que se metió en Pepe, hizo como $3 millones, después hizo un long ahorita con un 40X y estaba $100 millones arriba y empezó a decirle a todo el mundo que eso no le compraba un yate y que todo el mundo tiene mente de perdedor. Perdió todo y no nada más perdió todo, ahora está limosneando en Twitter para que le regalen dinero. O sea, la realidad, o sea, si eso fuera una película nadie te lo creería. ¿Con qué cara, güey? No sé. En fin, estamos por acá en los 104,500. Esta es la diaria. Como les dije, tenemos un cero de volatilidad justamente por acá que está expandiendo a la baja hasta ahora. Es lo que nos está enseñando. Y eso también tiene correlación a todo lo que estamos viendo en estas temporalidades más bajas. 4 horas, lo puedes ver perfectamente por acá. De llegar a perder los 103,200 es lo que nosotros estaríamos buscando personalmente, porque eso nos daría un movimiento gratuito por ahí de los $100,000 en el 78% en esta tabla. 2 horas, puedes ver que estamos haciendo retesteos bajistas. Estos retesteos bajistas nos dicen que deberíamos estar en corto y estoy más corto que mi nepe en este momento. Así que es en la posición en la que estamos. Esto debería ser un retesteo bajista que no, básicamente podría llegar hasta los 106, justamente acá donde ves este EMA 100, y de ahí rechazar para abajo. Siempre y cuando estemos por abajo de los 106, es más bajista que alcista. Resumido y puesto sencillo, sin HBDR ni nada. En todas las temporalidades muy alcista, sobre todo las altas. Lo que nos dice es que por ahora lo que estamos formando es simplemente un nuevo suelo y simplemente después de un alto tienes un bajo, luego tienes un alto y luego tienes un bajo. Es básicamente lo que estamos buscando. Y la zona que pensamos es donde vamos a encontrarlo. Un segundo, me voy a echar para atrás tantito. Voy a ponerlo en la semanal para que se vea mejor. Acá. Ok. La semanal pinta esto perfecto. Y básicamente lo que estamos buscando es este nivel de los 100 para que esto venga a aguantar por acá y reventar a la alza. Pierdes los 99 y 94 debería de ser tu siguiente objetivo. Si llegas a perder los 94, estamos hablando de que muy probablemente, si no encuentras suelo en los 90, vayas a coquetear con la idea de los 82 y hacer un nuevo mínimo, pero esto debería de pasar muy rápido porque todas las otras temporalidades altas son muy alcistas. Entonces, esto debería ser si es que se llega a dar tan agresivo. Nosotros pensamos que esta va a ser la zona de oportunidad por ahora. Entonces, estamos en corto en este momento. Bueno, es lo que yo saco de esto. Estamos en corto en este momento, simplemente en temporalidades cortas, no por cualquier otra cosa. Vamos a, después, una vez más, de haberlo dicho, alto, mínimo, alto, mínimo, alto. Tenemos que ir a buscar ese mínimo. Puede que lo haya puesto acá, pero creemos que va a ir hasta los 100, mínimo los 100,000, los 102,500, y de ahí puede revertirse a la alza con fuerza y continuar. Es lo que estamos viendo con el precio de los bitcoins, damas y caballeros. Vamos con el euro dólar que nos están pidiendo por acá. Y Ramón, vi lo que pusiste y me gusta la idea de mandar las newsletters. Lo vamos a organizar. Vamos a ver. CP500, no. Euro dollar, I'm sorry. I don't know why. Well, I know because I'm an idiot, but there you go.
Perfect. And of course, my dogs are howling for some reason.
Ahí les va el resumen del euro dólar. Se va a ir al pito.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we are. The euro dollar is actually still looking like it wants to do some busting action. I mean, we were talking about this zone being pretty important to hold. So far it is. I mean, now bulls are really gauging this wick high to break. And remember, we want the closure above that wick high. If we can actually hold above that, this wick high that was formed on April 9th, this would then start moving us quickly up to the 1.19553 level. We talked about that last week. Forex as a whole looked like it was at such a crucial zone. We got the pullback to the weekly 9. We didn't lose support. We closed just above it, consolidation above. But we are still now approaching resistance. So this is why, like last week, we need to see a weekly specifically above that April 7th high. If we can do that, that'll be really good confirmation, in my opinion, that maybe Dixie hasn't bottomed. Maybe Euro is going to go up to that 1.9 before topping. Specifically, when you look at the 2-month here, you do see that this zone is right around the 2-month EMA 100. This is a big spot. We reclaimed support. We held it. We threw it back to the 34. This is like a shift, in my opinion. Now we're pressing the EMA 100, but generally when you're not like breaking away from a major moving average, but rather just consolidating, testing around it, somewhat rejecting, it's more predatory to shorts, and this is brewing a breakdown. I mean, a breakout, not a breakdown, a breakout, while shorts want a breakdown. What you're noticing is the 2-month SMA 200 is perfectly sitting right around the 19185. This is a really big level because when we lost it here, this put it in an SFP. Now, if we rallied all the way up to this zone, this would not only be a major extremity high for Euro, but also a 2-month bearish retest. Let's see what occurred here. So we did SFP here, never retested it, came down, rallied up, found resistance at that. And then, yes, it didn't break away from it, but still, we still did find a almost 3% move from that SMA 200. So that it's very interesting to me to see that because it's like really once you break this EMA 100, you are going to get a free move up. Volatility too is at extreme lows, telling us that a move is brewing. Now, is it anywhere near from firing off? No, but we are above the moving average now, which is very important. Let's go here. 3-month as well kind of confirms that. I like that EMA 100's right at that wick high that we were representing here on like the 2-week. That's very interesting because that gives you max confluence, which is if you really start getting quarterlies above here and then holding it, there's really not going to be much that's really going to be preventing Euro from actually hitting that 1.19553 level. You have a 2-month BBWP setup. 2-month is breaking above the moving average, while you have a quarterly BBWP setup now, nowhere near the moving average, but still implication, specifically when you do see the monthly is firing off, right? We said if the monthly fired off, the 2-month could, and then the 3-month. And that's why we want to be really careful on this because, yes, I had a short going into last week. most likely going to be wrong on that potentially, and that's okay. But we don't want to be stingy with being wrong on high leverage trades on Forex right now, because this really could just start breaking out. Everything is primed for it, and you just don't want to be the person holding a 5% Forex trade. That's just terrible. Because that's a major move, is why that's terrible. So, you have your spot. You got to break above here. You got to hold it, and you got to really specifically break this wick high. Just puts it in a higher high posturing, and bulls will be looking at this as the next higher low. Now, so let's see what the HBDR says on this new monthly. So yeah, the monthly even is in a break out. We're consolidating nicely above the 38.2%, which is bullish. We reclaimed it. We held it. Now we're on the third month. So rule of threes. Generally, you could see some volatility on this month with Forex pairing. While volatility on the monthly is still nowhere near any kind of topping rollover level. Yeah, you're at the 51%, but this still looks extremely primed, which is, that has implications. You can see the monthly SMA 200, you're right at the 88.3%. And actually this monthly, if we just view the monthly, no meme lines, just kind of the EMAs, you hold above the EMA 100 on the monthly, which is very strong. Yeah, you're going to get that move up to right around that resistance around 19. Well, this is at 120031. Meme line's at 19542 to 19553. So that's just all higher time frames kind of showing a move could be brewing to here, and then that really could either roll over tops and then rejects, or that gets reclaimed and holds, and then we'll have to really evaluate what's next. What was I going to look at before? So I think we talked about it last week, where if let's say we did end up going to that 19-cent level, and this is something we talked about, if let's say we're wrong and Dixie is going to go maybe the 96 to 94 dollar level, I'm still not, it's not really the worst case. That's not a death sentence. It's over. We're totally wrong on the idea. All this really then could do, and the only reason I bring it up is because I remember your chart, Alejandro, which was there was a major support zone at 1860 to 1848 on peso. So what we could see is euro potentially going up to that 19, peso doing this, which would just simply be a bullish retest. Dixie, what would that look like? Well, Dixie comes down a little bit more. We're wrong on it, but we hit the quarterly SMA 200 and then go up. This is a big zone. Not a lot of data with it, I will say. But what we know is when you do lose the quarterly SMA 200, you get really big moves down on Dixie. So you broke out from it. You consolidated. You're breaking down now. This should be a magnet in theory, and this should hold. If that doesn't hold, and luckily for us, this is closing in 28 days, so it's not, crazy to be watching this now. If that doesn't hold, then yeah, that'll be a major sign for the dollar. But this should hold. So that could reflect to an 1860 on peso, maybe a $19 euro. And then we get our move. I also think here the JPY was at a very interesting zone on the monthly. Let's check that out. Oh gosh. So it did hold support, but again, you could easily see this come back down to here. It's like what we said, we just don't want this low to get taken out. So in summary, Forex is looking interesting. Euro is specifically looking strong, but we don't want to trade this. This is the gray zone. You either were longing here, playing your moving averages, or now you're waiting for a confirmed breakout. Now, a confirmed breakout for me will be when we get a weekly closure back above April 7th high. That would put us back above the median. That would give us a next target around 1.161. And at that point, you really have to just wonder if we're going to make the 1.1944. So I'd watch that carefully. If you're trading euro, it's definitely not dumb to be watching Forex this month, because it really does look like we're going to see some interesting moves up and down on Forex. And with volatility brings opportunity. So And I like euro specifically because that is on BTCC. That is where I trade euro. It's very convenient. I can pop a 300x leverage on it. No big deal. Write it up or write it down. So that's all I have on euro. Gray zone in the chart. You just have to watch closely.
Just a quick 300x, huh? Not bad. Fucking degenerates.
I'm very
That
tranquilo.
dude, that Tomatito guy. Nancy Pelosi copies. That Nancy Pelosi copies that dude. I'm 99% convinced. I need that dude to manage my portfolio and my life.
No, literally. And his leverage is always so degenerate.
It's
so juicy.
Well, like, it's the only way you can get 1,000% returns. So just quickly to go over this with you. So right now, the posture for all Forex, what charts are telling everyone, which to me is close to the bottom, there needs to be a capitulation at some point. But right now, everything is pointing and showing as if the dollar was going to break down. Then the peso is going to go, basically the peso's value is going to go up versus the dollar, and the dollar is going to lose strength in front of the peso. The yen, holy shit. Whoa. This is an incredible one. I don't understand how I did this, but my God, I'm sorry. The yen, I mean, it's right here, down here. So the yen is pretending that it's stronger than the dollar too, which also the pound also gaining ground against the dollar, and the euro gaining ground against the dollar. So we need a final capitulation on all senses where, in my opinion, the euro, for example, which is right here, can go up, up to here, and then fucking turbo nuke the peso. There's nothing Mexico's doing. Like, they're going into a recession right now. Their growth, their expectations for growth is like 0.1%, and that's their best estimates. That's propaganda. Europe, I mean, they're not doing anything. The yen, they're in a recession, these guys, and they're in a big growth stagnation. So this is just basically the dollar's just, in my view. And again,
have you considered that
what?
all they need to do is drop some new kind of tentacle porn and the Japanese yen will skyrocket?
It needs to be done with AI, though. I don't think AI is ready yet. And just looking at the dollar right here on the 3-month chart, basically, we're at the bottom of the channel. Nothing alarming. It's just, we need this. We need that capitulation moment where it goes like probably to the EMA 100 right here around 95, which is still a higher low. And then that's going to take us up here. So I think right now we're just basically preparing these moves, unless the entire world is going to do better than the United States. And I just don't understand how that's even possible.
It's a lot of thought, honestly.
Yeah. So just looking at this, it's just a matter of time. Where's going to be the final capitulation for each one of these, and when are they going to turbo reverse? And I think that's going to be an epic trade for people. Like I told you last week, I traded my pesos. Where the fuck is this? I traded my pesos exactly where we are right now, at 19.2. The one before I did was like 19.4. And now I'm waiting for 19, hopefully, or 18.5. That's what I'm waiting for. And that's going to be the final part of my bag. This is going to do this, and then going to skyrocket to 25, 27, in my view. It has to. So
yeah, no, I can see that. And it lines up with euro going to the 118, the 120s, and then topping.
Exactly. And with the yen also finding a ground right here and then going and exploding in itself. And then everything is just chaos. And the same thing with the pound. The pound should find resistance right here, but we'll see where it stops. But I think there's going to be a great trade for everyone in Forex. I'm doing spot. I'm not doing leverage on my peso trade because it's just money. But I think it's looking at reversals in this is going to be epic for the degenerates that are using leverage. So just wanted to share my stupid views so that people can make the same mistakes I make. Here we go. Okay. varias cosas. Vamos a ver el euro en putiza, pero les voy a poner en frente de todos ustedes lo que yo estoy viendo y cómo lo veo, y cómo lo pienso, y ahorita vamos justamente a la tabla en técnicas, ¿ok? Perdón, estoy borrando todo lo que tengo acá en el yen, no sé qué pinche obra de arte tan maestra me aventé, pero bueno, aquí estás. Solamente 7 líneas más, esperen. Ahí está. Esta vez voy a borrar todo en cuanto lo ponga. Voy a empezar con el euro. Ok, sencillo. El euro de acá, claramente estamos haciendo, ¿no? Lo pondría más o menos así. Eh, está en cierta tendencia alcista desde octubre del 2022, cuando el mercado americano encontró fondo, subió, cayó, subió. ¿Qué sigue después de un alto? Una caída. La cosa es, aquí está pintando como si la caída fuera lo que ya tomó lugar. Déjame, sí, me aseguro que estén viendo mi pantalla. En esto, estás en medio del trade, en el euro, estás justamente en el 1.14. Quieres llevarte este wick para arriba y cerrar por encima. Si eres alcista en el euro, esto es lo que quieres ver. Si eres bajista en el euro, simplemente no retomar esto y perder, obviamente, la media por acá en el 1.10. Eso sería, y además llevarte este mínimo. Si eso lo llegas a hacer, pues sería bajista. Si llegas a cerrar por acá, por encima, sería alcista. Ahora, la cosa es esta, el dólar, y lo voy a poner en la trimestral para que lo puedan ver de lejos y bien. El dólar está en una clara tendencia alcista desde el 2008, ¿no? Que es justamente esta zona, es el 2008. Simplemente arriba, abajo, arriba, abajo, arriba, abajo. ¿Qué sigue después del abajo? Arriba. Eh, no hay razón alguna. Yo sé que la narrativa en toda la televisión y lo que les están contando y lo que sabe el 90% de la gente, que normalmente cuando el 90% de la gente está de un lado es donde no va a ese lado, es que el dólar va a desaparecer, que el dólar va para abajo, Estados Unidos va a colapsar por alguna razón más que todos los demás países que están igual, bueno, mucho más jodidos que nosotros. Eh, entonces, la narrativa acá, lo que yo estoy esperando es la capitulación final. Como este momento que hubo en el 2020, antes de este gran subidongo, estoy esperando a que el dólar tal vez venga a los 95, encuentre un nuevo bajo más alto y de acá vaya a la parte alta del canal, a esos 122 que he tenido como objetivo por no sé cuánto tiempo. Eso es lo que yo estoy esperando. Entonces, si volteamos a ver todo esto y estás viendo que el dólar está a punto de caer y luego volteas a ver al yen japonés que está literalmente ganando terreno contra el dólar. Si el yen sube, o sea, si ves esto llegar acá, crisis mundial, básicamente es el fin de Japón, etcétera. Pero si lo ves bajar, eso quiere decir que le está ganando al dólar, ¿ok? Y ahorita te está enseñando una vez más que le está ganando al dólar según él. El euro está un poco en la misma situación porque a fin de cuentas el euro está en tendencia bajista desde el 2008. Está en el movimiento contrario a lo que está el dólar, por ejemplo. Entonces ahí puedes ver desde el 2008 que hizo tope, por acá en el 1.5, 1.6, ha estado cayendo y cayendo y cayendo y cayendo y cayendo. Entonces, ahora lo que la gente está diciendo es que por alguna razón Europa va a reventar a la alza, ¿no? Y que Estados Unidos y su moneda se va a ir al pito. Eh, es lo más ridículo del mundo, pero bueno, también si estás viendo el peso en este momento, excelente momento para cambiar tus pesos a dólares. Yo ya lo hice, empecé en los 19.4, hice mi segundo cambio en los 19.2 y espero hacer mi tercero. Si llegamos a un poco abajo de los 19, ahí me voy a meter y me voy a esperar. Porque el peso dólar, el peso debería irse a la mega mierda. Y la razón por qué no es por nada en contra ni a favor de nada, simplemente es la realidad económica. El crecimiento de México se está yendo a Estados Unidos, están estancados, no tienen crecimiento en el PIB. Solamente estoy repitiendo estadísticas, ¿ok? Y además, la política es un riesgo en contra del peso mexicano. ¿Por qué? Porque eres fan del bienestar o no. La gente de fuera de México no quiere invertir en un país que se vuelva como Venezuela, donde simplemente un partido, una persona tenga todo el poder, y esto lo volteas a ver con toda la gente que invierte. Simplemente todos te están diciendo eso. Aquí el peso encontró fondo en el 2024, en los 16. Entonces, aquí técnicamente, o vamos a bajar de esto y México está en la época dorada de México por alguna razón que nadie podría saber, o se va a ir simplemente a lo que tiene que irse a crear un nuevo máximo en los 27, que esa es mi partida y es justamente por lo que estoy cambiando todo mi dinero de pesos a dólares. Y solamente me queda una tercera parte. Así que va a ser cosa de ver dónde para, pero, o sea, no estoy preocupado. De todas maneras, lo estoy haciendo en spot porque es mi dinero, no es un trade. Ahora, la reversa de estos trades va a valer la pena jugarlas en Forex, en los exchanges con apalancamiento. ¿Por qué? Porque el peso de acá a los 27 va a ser gigantesco movimiento. El yen de acá hasta acá va a ser un movimiento gigantesco. La libra de acá para acá va a ser un movimiento gigantesco. El euro de acá para acá abajo va a ser un movimiento gigantesco. Y yo creo que vale la pena hacerlo. Pero si solamente estamos viendo el euro, y pueden ver acá que está justamente a punto de hacer básicamente el breakout, si es cierto. Y aquí lo tienes. Básicamente ya viniste, hiciste un SFP, dos SFPs, tienes el rechazo, ni siquiera lo estás cerrando por encima de este, es el promedio del 100 y el 55. Y de ser rechazado tal cual, muy probablemente ese es el final de esto. Pero yo sí esperaría, tiene que haber un momento de capitulización en esto, y la razón por qué es sencilla. No nada más donde estamos se va a dar la vuelta. Tiene el mundo que de verdad pensar que Estados Unidos se va a ir a la mierda. De nuevo, si Estados Unidos declara la recesión, Estados Unidos simplemente está adelantándosele a todos en sus declaraciones, no en las recesiones, ya existe en todo el mundo. Pero una vez que Estados Unidos diga, ups, estamos en la mierda, todo el mundo va a decir, se fue, Estados Unidos está acabado, y luego va a hacer esto. ¿Ok? Eso mínimo es como lo veo y es lo que está mínimo relacionado económicamente con todo lo que he visto, y algo que no me gustaría decir. He estado en todas mis predicciones de precios, movimientos económicos, etcétera, bien hasta ahorita. Nunca había estado en realidad con una y otra y otra y otra también. Entonces voy a llevármelo tranquilo, porque normalmente cuando me pasa eso también me equivoco. Entonces no me voy a poner loca, pero sí voy a esperar a que la libra rechace o en el 1.4 o tal cual donde está. Yo creo que el 1.4 es correcto porque también tienes la línea meme en bajada junto con tu promedio del 100, y ahí es donde se va a ir al pito todo. Entonces ahí tienes. Para el euro, ¿quieres hacer tu trade, damas y caballeros? Sencillo, semanal. Vamos a la semanal, pongámoslo aquí. No te metas acá, no hay ningún IME importante. ¿Dónde está mi 9? ¿Por qué no aparece? El azul. Me acabo de dar cuenta de esto. IMA 34, 21, bla, bla, bla. Espérame. More. Copy. Paste. ¿Qué le pasó? ¿A dónde se fue? Aquí está. Un segundo. Ahí está. Ok. Y lo voy a hacer de otro color. Era azul. Ok. Puedes ver el retesteo, donde te va a dejar entrar, sería en un retesteo una vez más del 9 y el promedio del 5, que está justamente en el 1.13. El 1.13 es donde querrías entrar en largo. Esa sería la oportunidad ideal. Y si eres alcista, quieres simplemente poder empezar a consolidar por encima de esta línea, para que dé continuación a la alza. Si eres bajista, tienes que llevarte este mínimo de acá. Bastante sencillo. Pero por ahora no estás en un trade. El trade ideal sería justamente acá por ahora. Y ya sea si lo pierdes, bajista; si lo ganas y rebotas, alcista. Pero le damos más alcista todavía. Todavía no hay nada que haya hecho esta capitulación en el euro. Alrighty. Is Tesla next?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
My bad.
Ew.
Oh, no. You cough? Wow, what a subhuman piece of trash.
Dude, for 2 years with COVID, at first it was so weird being somewhere where people were coughing. That was traumatizing.
Nowadays, if people still like to wear masks, I don't cough in their face. I just like to little
It's terrible.
just to fuck with them. I did that in the Uber, where this one Uber driver was wearing gloves and he pulls out a mask and everything, and just give a couple little. So on the quarterly on Tesla, we've got a nice move up to the median, which has been our target for the past couple of weeks. And as of this moment, we are getting a rejection of the median. And as long as we are rejecting the median, there is no talk of a breakout happening until that median gets reclaimed. If you want to see where if we get a closure below the median, where the median moves to on the open, because if it moves below price action, that's going to be very bullish, and that's going to give us a move into the top 38.2%. If it moves above price action, then that rejection of the median is likely going to give us a move into the bottom 38.2% before anything else. So as of now, if we do close like this, we would have to see where the median moves to give us an idea of what direction we're going to go next. Momentum is currently still pointed up and just about to get over the moving average, while volatility is now in extreme lows, and the jewel is still giving us a buy signal on the quarterly, so it's still looking positive. And the quarterly has currently closed above the previous lower high, so it is looking in a posturing to put in a higher low at the moment, and this is very possibly our next higher low. But to confirm this is our next higher low, we'd have to get a close over $439.74, which then will give us targets of pretty new all-time highs. Monthly is currently flipped to the downside of momentum, getting very close to the bearish control zone, which is likely the area where it does flip back up, considering that what do you call it? The candles are starting to put in structure, and we've regained 38.2% and closed over the median. So as of right now, with this momentum to the downside, I would expect to move into this 38.2%. A nice bounce somewhere between this 38.2% and this 50%, between, like, let's say $320 to $330, which was basically the move we were talking about for I believe on the last two streams. Is a move down into somewhere around 320 to 315, and then a bounce from there to the $400 area, which we are now currently getting. And that would line up perfectly with our 38.2% to 50%, and then give us a rejection of the bearish control zone, and then we can flip up. And it would also put in hidden bullish divergence, giving us what we need to break into that $400 area. And then the jewel is also going to be giving us a nice retest of this cross with the pink above the yellow. And then we get a perfect jewel cross if this can flip up right over here. 2-week is also giving an idea of a little bit of a pullback with the rejection of this 38.2%. Momentum is still, however, pointed to the upside, telling you that whenever you get to a strong enough support area, it probably is going to end up in a bullish result with that momentum so pointed up, and that will take us down somewhere around this cluster of EMAs with the 9 and the 5, right at that same 315 and $320 area, and it also lines up with the median too. Weekly is also positioned to the upside of momentum and volatility, telling you this move into the EMAs right around 320 to 315 is likely going to be an opportunity, and it's going to fill this little, you can even consider it a gap. 5 days, well, it's telling you a little bit of a pullback, probably somewhere into this cluster of EMAs right around that same 320 to 315 area. Today also, momentum is pointed down with volatility pointing down, telling you likely higher low. Right, oh, you have a fresh silver cross to the upside, right into that silver cross, right around 320, which is 38.2%, to right around 315, which is the 21. Daily as well is pointing down on momentum, right at the reset zone, with volatility is expanding from 0%. Probably going to move into somewhere around this cluster of EMAs, right around the 200, the 100, and the 55, right about 3-ish, 315-ish, 310. So let's make it range between about $300 to $320. 4 hours also pointed to the downside of momentum. You're getting very low areas on momentum, getting below these areas while still putting in a higher low, giving you a possible hidden bullish divergence. And you're getting a nice cross a sell signal on the jewel in the bullish control zone and very high in the bullish control zone. Let's mark this with a vertical line whenever we got a jewel in this area. I mean jewel signal. Cross in yellow right there. And so a little bit before. This is making me a lot more comfortable in my short. Seeing Tesla is very bearish as well. There.
Oof.
Does this one count? No, not really. And by the way, me saying it's making me more comfortable in my short is not saying just because Tesla looks bearish, you should go and short Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That should be enough. I don't want to go back even more. So you first got to move up about 6%, and then to move down about 27%. This is the more immediate move down of about 4%. Does Tesla like to put in the scam pumps? Not much of one this time. Same 4% down, and then about 14%. Immediate move down or about 4%, it looks like. This one was similar, 4% immediately, and then down about close to 10%. %4 immediately, then down about 8%. No, more actually. 17%. So it seems to be 4% is the immediate move. The higher end is somewhere between 10 to 20%. So 10 is the medium move, and 20% would be the higher move.
What do we got
How much?
already?
Let's
Exactly.
see. We've done about 9.35% to the downside. So let's take it about 10%. That's about $326. Let's take it to 15%. About $311. 20%, $291. So 10% is right around $330. 15% is right in the middle, right about $315-ish.
Mhm.
So perfectly fitting the bias.
And also in your weekly EMA 9, weekly EMA 21 and 34 right there.
Yep. And I believe the silver cross is right there too. Oh, fuck.
Let me see.
2-day silver cross. Yep.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Now we will switch to the momentum chart. I mean, the RSI, actually. Quarterly still has active hidden bullish divergence. It's going to be active as long as you're closing above about, what is this number here? $217. And your next move is into the simple moving average, which right now is at about $560. It's, nothing quite. There is a possible, actually, there is a possible hidden bullish divergence because we did make a lower low. You would have to close above $355 to confirm it. That would give you a target of somewhere around $430 on confirmation. The RSI target would be 460, which is very close to our current all-time highs. Interesting that lines up with the jewel losing the sell signal on the 2-week. Weekly already has the multiple rise of hidden bullish divergence. Going to be active as long as you're closing over at 331, and your next move is into what do you call it? The bullish control zone at about 349, and then the critical zone at about 562. Oh, very interesting. 560 again. 5-day as well, hidden bullish divergence with volatility expansion. Likely your next move is into somewhere around the bullish control zone and then the critical zone at about 330 and then 447. Or 447, I mean 447, and then critical zone is at 884. But this number is likely going to update because it's a little extreme. It's going to update in about 2 days. That's what can kind of tell you that a number is going to update if it looks a little too extreme and the closure is soon. 3 days about to put in a fresh drive of bearish divergence in about 2 days and 5 hours, as long as we close below about 345, and that is going to give us a target, pretty easy target of retesting this silver cross right around like 315 to 310. And the RSI targets, 301, but this will update because this is going to rise. Although it wouldn't be the most out of the usual move for Tesla to come right down to $300.
Nope, exactly.
Daily is also putting in hidden bullish divergence, and it will confirm above 330, 364, and that will give us a move into about $400 on confirmation. 4 hours, many drives of bearish divergence going to be active as long as you're closing below 364, which will confirm your bullish divergence, and your next move is into about 310, beautiful bearish control zone.
Mm-hmm.
6-month momentum on Tesla is pointed freshly to the upside, rejecting getting out of the bullish control zone and putting in hidden bullish divergence, with volatility coming right to the reset area. Very interesting, right around that 50%, where it started expanding last time at 63%, but you'll see it more clear on these quarterly. Quarterly is also starting to freshly flip up, rejecting getting into the bearish control zone, putting in hidden bullish divergence, and getting right to the same volatility area where we expanded from in 2019 when we did like 20x in price, something like that. 2,000% moves to the upside. I'm not even asking for 2,000% moves to the upside. Just a nice move into like $550 or 560. Very, very reasonable to ask for. And we have a beautiful United States pattern right here. We got California, we got Texas, we got Florida. This is the New York, Pennsylvania area. Very interesting. Once we break that area, we should probably get sent to Canada.
Oh, no.
$600 Tesla is Canada.
Mm.
And we are in volatility expansion from the same exact area that we were in when we got that 2,000% move. This just in, Tesla's going to $6,000.
Well, I got a lot of retards telling me online that it's going to go to zero, but they won't short it. I don't understand it. Like, if it's such an easy trade, why are you not taking it? Why am I putting millions on the long side? Why are you not? Why are you being a fag? That's mostly the question I have for those people.
What I love to tell them is that if you feel that strongly in your opinion, then it should be an easy short, unless you can't even seem to convince yourself, but you're trying to convince me.
Exactly, buddy. Exactly. And that's everyone right now online. It's fucking hilarious.
Can't even convince themselves, but they're trying to convince us.
Yep. Good luck.
On the monthly, momentum is still flipped to the downside in the quarterly, but hopium is that volatility is contracting, and we are getting right to the edge of the bearish control zone, which is the area where it should flip up. goes along with a little bit of a retest of this 5 EMA, maybe slightly lower to the 9, right around that $310 area. So it gives us a range between 320 and 300, and very likely from there you are going to bounce strongly. 2 week is freshly flipping up, rejecting the critical zone, pointed up above 261. Weekly is also pointed up with volatility expansion above 267. 5 days pointed up, volatility expansion above 255. 2 days pointed down with volatility contraction, telling you probably going to get a higher low right around that silver cross, which lines up with my meme line beautifully. And it's going to be pointed down below 361. Daily is also flipping down with volatility contracted all the way to the extremes, and it's going to be flipped down below 361. 4 hours now getting a volatility setup and gone into a contraction phase, likely will flip up soon, especially if you lose about $330. And it's going to be flipped down with the derp of death below about 361. Wow, 361, 361, 361. The high time frames on Tesla are extremely bullish, freshly flipping up on the 6-month, putting in hidden bullish divergence. Quarterly is also putting in hidden bullish divergence with momentum flipping up. Monthly is currently flipped down, but volatility is contracting, and you're getting to the area of volatility contraction where you started expanding from when you did a 2,000% move in 2019. And monthly momentum is getting to a point where getting right to the edge of the bearish control zone, where on the next open, the pivot likely will go significantly in the bull's favor. And what goes along with that is that the 2 week and everything below is currently flipped to the upside. The lower time frames are currently flipped down, which makes it a lot more likely that you're going to get a nice little retest of that 2-3 day silver cross and my meme line right around in a zone between $320 to $300. I would consider that a maximum opportunity zone, and I would expect to move from that zone to somewhere around $400. The invalidation for all of this and to remove the bullishness is going to be getting a daily close below anywhere about $271 or any move below about $214. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're probably going to get a move into 320 to 300 and then from there to 400.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know shit, but that seems to be the most logical path for this. Thank you, sir. That was excellent. Really excellent, because it fits right in my bias.
It's my bias too. Our biases are touching tips.
Oh my God, we're biasing all over the place right now.
It's not gay when it's bias.
Exactly. I just really hope Belen can hear me. Okay. Thank you, sir. I sent you already on the chat what's next. ES1 and Rivian. Estamos viendo Tesla. Yo creo que Tesla es más fácil de lo que todo el mundo la complica, ¿no? Y por cierto, soy más alcista todavía ahora, viendo cómo hay gente en Twitter diciéndome que Tesla se va a cero, pero no pone nada de dinero en un corto en contra de Tesla. Es tu dinero, es dinero fácil. Estás diciendo, se va a ir a cero. ¿Por qué no lo pones? No sé, pero normalmente cuando veo eso, se me para el corazón. Aquí vemos algo interesante en Tesla. Rápido se los voy a poner. Esto es lo que les había dicho la semana pasada. Estaba esperando que viniéramos de acá, acá, acá. Esta es mi zona donde les dije debería de vender, porque aquí sabía que íbamos a tener reacción de precio, ¿no? No vendí mi posición. Como les dije, estoy simplemente esperando. No estoy no contento con mi posición, ¿no? Sobre todo ahora con lo que ha subido. Pero aquí, si quieres tradear Tesla o quieres entrar en Tesla, hay una oportunidad bastante chida presentándose. Tienes de dos sopas. Uno, estas líneas memes que también están apoyadas por estos CMAs son bastante sólidas. Puedes agregar aquí un poco y esperar a no llevarte este mínimo. Si te llevas este mínimo en los 331, lo que yo diría es, y la siguiente zona de agregar sería justamente acá, entre los 315 o 16 a los, básicamente 300, a esta línea. Y todavía seguiría siendo alcista si vienes a retestear los 290 hasta por acá abajo. Esto te cagarías, ¿no? Esto sería, te sacaste la lotería. Ahora, podría todo hasta acá venir simplemente también hasta los 269 y empujar. La idea acá es simplemente escoger tus zonas. Si estás entrando en long, hacer DCA. Estamos hablando de invertir más que hacer un trade. El trade es sencillo acá. Pones un long con un stop loss acá y eso esperas a que te salga. Si no sale, te sale sin chinga con mínima pérdida y ahora aquí lo vuelves a abrir donde aparte hay un gap justamente acá y estoy viendo el gráfico de 2 días. Tesla en todas las temporalidades, sobre todo en las altas, continúa siendo muy alcista y es un poco como lo que vimos con los bitcoins, ¿no? Donde tienes este alto, veniste a hacer tus mínimos y ¿qué es lo que sigue después de mínimos? Un siguiente alto. Y la pregunta es, ¿ya fue este? ¿O podría ser nuevo alto histórico? Y sabes que Tesla tiene también lo del robotaxi. Una vez que pongan un robotaxi en la calle, se acabó el juego. Uber a la bancarrota, Waymo a la bancarrota, una vez más, ¿saben qué? No los quiero convencer, esto ha pasado una y otra vez, vayan a verlo, pongan atención, graben esto para cuando después se puedan venir a burlar de mí. Pero si lo grabaste y pasa lo que yo digo, entonces tráelo y me cuentas cómo te fue. Entonces, básicamente en trimestral, estamos por encima de todos nuestros promedios. Estamos buscando, encontramos una base acá. Este fue nuestro mínimo en esta tendencia. Venimos a este alto, este máximo, un máximo histórico. Venimos a hacer un nuevo mínimo aquí arriba. Y ahora nos tocaría hacer un nuevo máximo, en teoría. Debería serlo el siguiente paso. O mínimo un máximo local. Ahora, mensual. Mensual es un poco más fácil de leer, justamente lo que le estoy diciendo, y la pregunta aquí sería, si ya hicimos este máximo por acá, después de este mínimo, deberíamos de hacer un mínimo más alto, y eso podría darse justamente en esa zona, ¿no? Entonces, si estás viendo el gráfico así, esto podría tranquilamente venir acá, no romper tendencia y continuar. Aquí tendrías estos mínimos y este mínimo acá. Por eso, básicamente, cualquiera de estas cosas es posible. Pero si nos vamos a la semanal, por ejemplo, aquí esta es mi vista favorita. Tienes una vela topera con continuación. Esta vela topera se elimina, no se activa si esta vela llega a cerrar arriba de 345. Faltan 4 días y 5 horas para ello. De no hacerlo, nos diría que esto probablemente sí se va a llevar a este mínimo y vayamos a ver esta zona, que es también donde hay un cruce plateado en la de 2 días. 2 días lo puedes ver acá, cruce plateado, ya retestaste el promedio del 9, lo que normalmente es tu primera excelente oportunidad de entrada, que es justamente donde está el precio ahorita, lo puedes ver justamente acá. Y tu segunda oportunidad brutal va a ser el retesteo de justamente esta zona, entre los 315 y los $300 que les había dicho, donde también tienes este gap que está acá. Y al tener ese gap, va a funcionar como un imán para el precio o también una trampa. Si dejas el gap, como una trampa. Pero si lo pongo en la diaria, les pongo este gráfico tal cual. Quito mis EMAs. Es bastante sencillo, ¿no? Entender. Máximos, mínimos, máximos. ¿Dónde va a ser el siguiente mínimo más alto? Ustedes escojan, ¿no? 1, 2 o 3. Abajo de 271 yo diría, estoy fuera, ¿no? Bueno, si es, si es que están abriendo trades aquí. A mí me encantaría que se fuera para acá abajo, pero cada vez parece que menos va a pasar. Y simplemente pues, dar continuación a esto. Y si llega a aguantar también por encima de los 270, tal vez, y si llega a tocar acá y empieza a empujar para arriba, aquí es donde yo probablemente agregue a mi posición, ya que pues me perdí la segunda y tercera entrada. Pero ahí lo tienen. Tesla está bastante fácil de tradear. Honestamente, es un no-brain long acá con un super tight stop loss, ¿no? Con este mínimo, justamente acá. Y bajando de esto, o sea, de punto de donde estamos acá, a tu stop loss de acá es 1.47%. Lo puedes hacer en BTCC con, no sé, un 5X o un 10X, ¿no? Que te perdería 10%. No abres la posición con toda tu cartera. Si se llega a bajar esto y se lo lleva para abajo, te sales del trade y vuelves a entrar acá abajo. Y ya, es bastante sencillo. No es para hacerle corto acá. Esta madre tiene mucha fuerza y no sabe si está encontrando suelo acá o si no. No sabe si va a haber continuación. Entonces, sería muy temprano para rifarte como todos los genios en X que están apostándole a Tesla a cero, pero sin poner nada de su dinero. Solamente diciéndonos, intentándonos convencer. Así que Tesla, bastante alcista. Todavía interesante, buen timing. Viene lo del robotaxi. Y todo eso, porque acuérdate, yo creo que mucha gente de verdad no entiende. todas las industrias que se va a llevar Tesla. Y la otra cosa que yo pondría atención es la única empresa en Estados Unidos, que va a crear trabajadores de la nueva era moderna, porque la nueva era moderna van a ser esclavos y los esclavos van a ser los robots. Eso es lo que genera la productividad, como en el sector de trabajo en este momento. Los trabajadores, nosotros somos los que creamos productividad, los que generamos dinero, y Tesla va a tener la habilidad de crear trabajadores, ya sean al principio choferes en forma de robots que son coches, o después en robots como Optimus que hagan cualquier trabajo que tú puedas hacer o que cualquiera pueda hacer. Y ese tipo de productividad, ese tipo de creación de productividad y básicamente de nuevos esclavos nunca ha existido en ninguna empresa. Y simplemente con movilidad, con Tesla tal cual lo conoces con los coches, se puede llevar y se puede cargar a todo Uber, a todo Lyft, a, ¿cómo se llama? Uber, Lyft, todas las otras pendejadas que existan en todo el mundo y también a DHL, FedEx y todo eso. Y la razón por qué es porque logísticas no van a requerir de personas y eso lleva el costo de logísticas a cero. Así que atentos ante esta tendencia. Tesla se está viendo muy bien y el timing es bueno. Ahí lo tienen. Vámonos a la que sigue. What's next, boys? Alex, let me see.
Some nice
Rivian.
Rivian action, yeah. Yeah, no. So Rivian here is looking interesting to me as well. I mean, markets as a whole are just at such important spots, is what I'm seeing this week. Let me get this off and let's do this. Get a little bigger here. So we rallied up. We had a nice move. When reviewing the weekly here, we had that weekly EMA 100. We mentioned that was going to be a big spot. I mean, you're either going to reject there and then try to higher low around the weekly 9, which possibly could be happening now, or this was it. This is top. This is going to deviate $13 and 69 cents for the culture, and we're going to be back within the new range. Conservative target will be the 34 at $13.10, where bull's objective now is to take it back to that $12.30 and break it down. You have a lot of liquidity here trapped. A lot of people bought Rivian. So, it's all going to be dependent on this, throwback. What you have on Rivian is you have breakouts and it can never hold the throwback. It breaks out and it can't hold the throwback. So as long as it can hold the throwback, this isn't a bounce zone, but don't get it twisted. If the weekly starts really losing $13.69, that's where this becomes a problem. And this really does start looking like a major evening star on a weekly after rejecting major points of the chart, specifically like the weekly EMA 100. I think we even hit the 20. What did we hit before? Maybe it was on a 2-week. No, yeah, it was the monthly 21. It just didn't populate. Monthly 21 for the first time ever. And I remember we were talking about this. This is very big of resistance. Going on to Rivian, all we had was just the reactions on the 9, and we've simply had to just look at this as what we know, which is when a monthly is rallying up to the 21, when the weekly is hitting an EMA 100 for the first time ever, we got to be very cautious of that. The weekly really points it nicely. Now, ever so front ran it, but I mean, if you were going into that idea cautious and like, okay, well, there should be some kind of resistance here, it's either just going to be a lower time frame pullback or a rejection. That would have been wise, instead of, I need to long this because we're about to go up to 18. No, because it's just like what we were saying with Rivian, there's no FOMO here. It very well could have just done this and then that, and it did not. So now we got the pullback. This has to hold though. This needs to be like the higher low. It's got to grind out a bottom here, and we could potentially be within a new range. It's really not until you start seeing $15.22 actually get reclaimed again on like a weekly, where you'll have another shot at testing the weekly EMA 100. Bears are going to be trying to solidify this is the evening star. This was a typical top candle after a epic rally up. They're going to be using this high as the invalidation. So, lots of stops are set there. But there's no free lunch. Where would I be looking to play Rivian, and where will the Academy play Rivian? Most likely this play right here. This will give us an easy short, something like that. And that way we're not shorting the extremity low. We're not longing. We're rather just waiting. This exact play would have worked out perfectly here and here. That's why I like Rivian, because this volatility makes the trading nice, right? Breaks down, comes down. We're like, no, we're not. We're just going to wait for the bearish retest short here, printed. Broke down. Oh, I have lots of FOMO, like what many have now. Let me short. You would have been smoked, and then you would have had the easy bearish retest. Your stop would have been here, and then boom, that would have printed nicely. So the idea now is that we're probably going to get some bounce here, some reaction, ideally. That is either going to put in a bearish retest or an SFP. And then if you do start reclaiming back above $15 and like $15.24, 22 cents, yeah, then it's going to start looking like we're going to at least test at $17 again. Either reject there or break out. I do think, though, if we start really coming up against this high, this could be brewing a breakout. So really a big spot here for both bulls and bears. You very well could see this lose 34, and then that'll be another point on, okay, well, wait, maybe this isn't actually shifting structure like what we thought. Maybe this isn't actually breaking out. Maybe it was all just temporality, seasonal volatility that Rivian always gives. Because what you have is a 34 in the 2-week that's been pretty strong resistance. I was getting pretty excited about this chart, saying this has real potential of like going up, but it's got to hold the back test. And here it is. We're at the back test. And so far, bulls are not showing up. And what we see on the 2-week even is, this didn't give us a volatility setup, but has potential to break back above the moving average. And we lost that in June. So this would be a very interesting and kind of solidify to me that, a big move is brewing on Rivian. So the next week and 2 week are going to be quite important. The weekly 9 either springs us up. This either leaves a nice buyback wick and we hold the 34, trapping anti-shorts that front run this idea of going down. This literally loses the 34 here. Next week we rally up, so we get that weekly move up. But then that probably just turns into, if I can go to the weekly real quick, that probably will just turn into a very shallow lower high here. So instead, maybe we don't go all the way up. Maybe it's just like that, rolls over and then dumps. And that probably rejects the 34 on the 2-week. Now you just see it lose this. Any rally up from that weekly 9 most likely gets stopped on this wick low and that 34, ideally. Now you start reclaiming back above the 34. You start holding that weekly 9. Yeah, then this again will start looking good. But there are legitimate concerns on this chart. You could delete all these little lines here and focus on this and this. And we are literally at the extremity high of this range. If you only want to play a meme range, technically then you are going to get the next move here. And then you are either going to break down or move up. And then it's like what we said, this should really start giving you that move in like July, August. Doesn't mean that we can't go test this and then range and then go down. Could easily do that or do this, and then that's what breaks us out. We retest this wick high, flip that into support. Everything's now just pre-planned, and then we can go up. They need that wick high to match right here. We flip that into support. And then it launches, shorts right here, get too antsy. We hold this range. That's the hopium. But you have to remember, the more times you hit this, the weaker it's getting. The 4th time, I'm not going to be confident that's going to hold. Now, it doesn't mean it won't break and then like hit like $10, spring, and then go up, similar to here. But again, same analogy, just the more times you're hitting support, the weaker it's getting. This $8 is just looming. So yeah, Rivian, the chart that could, it's just so much hopium on this chart. And there is valid hopium, and it is good. It's just, this is like it. We got to now see where we're at the decision point, in my opinion. You're even noticing here the monthly 9 got reclaimed. It held. So again, just ties into, you got to start seeing this like 1369 to like 1330 really hold, or there's going to be concerns here. Bears really need to see this rejection take hold, and for us just to really start dumping in this month or next month, in my opinion. you start, consolidating with the monthly 9, holding 1369, holding the weekly 9. Okay, yeah, then, that'll actually start looking really good, but it's just too early to say, and there's too many concerning things. Even the 15-day shows, we're at a big spot, could be shifting structure, or this is just a major trap, and we're going to just dump through, make our way down to that like 1260, the 1230 region, and then maybe bounce. With volatility this low, though, you just want to be careful on really sticking to the levels. So we reclaimed it. We're now in the process of throwing it back. Let's see if it holds. There's no reason to front run this idea. This is closing in 2 days. If it does hold it, great. Then we can start looking for maybe a long, and your stop could just be maybe this low, this 15-day candle low. But again, still too early, not enough data on this chart to really actionably trade it, but rather wait, watch, and know your levels. And right now, your level is the weekly 9. You're watching for that to hold. Bulls are going to be scaling longs here, and they're going to be having their stop right here, and they are going to be target first. The target will be $15.20. You reclaim that, your next objective will be 17. Shorts will want to bounce here still, but they'll want $15.26 to absolutely reject, and then that's it. Similar to what we saw here and here. SFP rallies up, bearish retest, nuke, and boom, boom, nukes. And these moves down are pretty violent once they occur. This one was 35%, and then this one was 32%. So 30% from that point. Yeah, it's like $10. So would not be very good. So yeah, that's Rivian.
Can I offer you some hopium, sir?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the long side, this is a chart as I had it last time we talked about it. I was expecting this retest right here, but I was expecting it kind of like right here. It already made it. But I think as long as we hold this area, the 1330, this is a regular moving Rivian's timeline. Now you lose this area, just like you're saying, the 1330, and you start getting closest below, definitely going to the 10s, like to the 11s maybe. And then that's it. This was like our high, but the time frame just doesn't fit, because normally we find the top around July or August in each one of those times, and these corrections are very normal because it's very violent. This is why I like Rivian and trading Rivian. So I would expect a reaction here, maybe even go up, go lower, tell everyone, oh, this is definitely making a higher low and a lower low from here. It's over, and then blow the fuck up into July and August, and then we can see where we stand. But I feel like that's
definitely could happen. And then shorts at short at that top get blown out. They don't want to short it anymore, and you just kind of make that lower time frame blow off top, where it just goes parabolic to 18 and then tops.
Yeah. And just like every other year. Now, that's not even considering that it might break out into new levels and do all this crazy shit. Just saying, just based on the normal behavior on the chart, that seems to be the easiest play, right?
It's true. I mean, you really Rivian speaks to you. I'll say that.
I don't know why.
It speaks.
I don't know why. Thank you.
Rivian collector.
That we. I'm gonna buy all the models. It's gonna be so baller.
Went from Porsche to Mercedes to Rivian.
Exactly. My house is gonna look like I have 7 wives.
Oh, so the average Arab.
Exactly. That still applies. That's nice. Thank you, sir.
There's a restaurant in Pakistan called Two Wives.
No way.
Hilarious.
Is it good?
I haven't eaten there, but
by the
I know
way,
of it.
this is a little United States pattern that's been forming for a year. If we get to break out through here, and the move should be 10 to 18. If you're 18 and 8, should take you to 26 at least. That's pretty cool, knowing that. All right, I'll get to it. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Alex. That was great. Rivian, honestamente sigue siendo igual de fácil que antes. Hizo exactamente lo que les había dicho en el stream pasado, y quien no lo crea vaya a verlo. Estábamos por acá y dije, esto va a romper. vamos a ir a retestear esta línea, la retestamos acá, llegamos antes de lo que yo pensaba. Ahora, esto que hayamos llegado antes me hace pensar que vamos a tener una subida y esa subida nos va a dar el rechazo y nos va a llevar acá, a mi objetivo, el que tenía originalmente. La razón por la que pienso eso es porque esto haría que toda la gente se espante y diga, va alto más bajo, bajo más bajo, esto se va a ir al pito y luego, como siempre, a julio y agosto veas el alto histórico. Ahora, rompiendo los 18.85, me acabo de dar cuenta que tenemos un patrón de tasa y aquí sería la agarradera más o menos. Si empezamos a ver ese tipo de acción, el breakout, el objetivo de eso serían los 20, básicamente casi los 28. Pondría yo los 26, si eso se llega a dar. Pero vamos paso a paso, ¿no? No nos aloquemos, no nos pongamos como locas todavía. Vamos a poner esto bien, tal cual como lo teníamos antes. Y todo esto sigue de acuerdo al plan. Vienes, haces este alto, que es más alto que este. Vienes bajando. Rivian siempre hace esto. Y siempre y cuando no pierdas la zona, si eres alcista en Rivian, siempre y cuando no pierdas la zona de los 13.30 en cierres, no tienes pedos. Aguantando los 13.30 en cierres, no tienes problema. Si no, tienes una alta probabilidad de ir a visitar los 11. Y esa sería también una zona excelente de oportunidad para comprar Rivian a largo. Si es que se llega a dar, personalmente no creo. Yo creo que esta línea meme va a aguantarnos perfectamente en los 13.30 y esa va a ser la jugada. Mínimo de aquí a julio, agosto. Después de eso ya veremos y tenemos que llevárnosla paso a paso. Rivian sigue en la misma postura alcista. Acabas de hacer un alto más alto después de este bajo, que son bajos más altos, y a fin de cuentas nada ha cambiado. Me gustaría tirarles más choro y no se ve así. El gráfico mensual lo han visto cuántas veces. Es más, les voy a poner el de 2 semanas, donde, güey, esta es una pero mega clara tendencia bajista, ¿no? Pero dentro de la tendencia bajista, parece que estamos rompiendo a la alza. Simplemente venimos a retestear nuestra zona de breakout y ese retesteo de la zona de breakout nos debería llevar a dar un impulso para julio, agosto, entre los 18 hasta los 26. Y ahora, si te llevas los 28, estás hablando de un objetivo mucho más alto. Pero ni siquiera lo voy a medir. Pero esto básicamente llevaría a Rivian una vez más a $60 casi, si es que llega a romper aquí arriba. ¿Es posible? Sí, porque Rivian está haciendo lo mismo que Tesla y es bastante inteligente. Son los únicos que están posicionados así en el mercado americano, fuera de Tesla. Así que ahí lo tienen. Eso es Rivian para todos ustedes. Y para agregar confluencia a mis teorías malévolas, simplemente les pongo acá. Nuestros promedios del 21 y el 9 están aquí abajo, que es perfecto para venir al retesteo y darnos para arriba. Ahí lo tienen, damas y caballeros. Eso es Rivian, bastante fácil. Continuamos haciendo lana. Muchos de ustedes me siguen mandando mensajes de ello. Me da mucho gusto que les esté yendo bien con esto y con Tesla, que son mis bebés. No sé por qué mierdas los entiendo. All right, sir, we're ready for ES1. It's in the game.
I haven't heard that in a long time. EA Sports, in the game.
I promise I can do much better. It's just I don't want to wake up the beast.
Once it's awakened, it can't be put back to sleep.
Nope.
Yes. One of the only ones that we have enough data to actually do a 6-month on. So we got to move all the way down to the bottom 38.2%. Went a little bit below it, went to the 9 EMA. And what's interesting enough, very interesting to point out, the only times that we've went to this bottom 38.2%, not and the more important one is the 38.2%. The only 2 times in the recent history we went to the bottom 38.2% was 1 on the COVID dump, and then 2 was back in 2008. The only 2 times in recent history where we came to that bottom 38.2%. And then in both times, we got a strong bounce at that 38.2% area. And especially if we look at, 2008 went below it and then got a strong bounce. But 2020 got a bounce exactly at the bottom, 38.2%. And from a bounce to a closing basis, it went up bounced 42%. Right now, it's going to be a less significant of a bounce because it's not as much volatility as then, and it makes sense because COVID was an insane nuke on a black swan event. Right now, this is I believe off of quote unquote tariffs or whatever they want to apply the blame for it. But for now, we have a bounce of about 23%, about half of what that was, which is the quote unquote tariffs versus black swan event, global pandemic with the entire planet is shutting down, getting 50% of that move. I'd say that's pretty good. Pretty good in my opinion.
Yep.
And the last time when we went to that bottom 38.2%, we went to not only new all-time highs, we went to significantly new all-time highs. And we went all the way up to tap the 100% on the HPDR. Don't think that's going to happen this time around, but it's not all that unreasonable to say that we're going to go to the top 38.2% as long as we hold this bottom one and continue this bounce before this closure, and ideally close over this 5 EMA, which is we are a good amount above right now. That'll take us to the top 38.2%. That sits at about 7,000. That's quite new all-time highs, and from where we are at the moment, that is about like 20% up. That's a lot for stocks. I know us crypto people are taking 20%, that ain't shit. But for stock people, for boomers, 20% is life changing. On the 6 month, well, I guess for boomers not life changing, but fourth mistress adding. On the 6 month, we're currently having momentum pointed to the downside. But the reason why I don't see this as a death signal is because we're above the the bearish control zone, and this is the area where we will likely flip back up. Plus, not only will we flip up here, it's going to put in hidden bullish divergence 3 drives because we're breaking below these 2 lows while making 2 higher lows, and this will be our 3rd higher low. And three drives of hidden bullish divergence on a 6 month, safe to say that's quite bullish. At the very least, we're going to go to 7,000 if that's confirmed. Let's go to, and if we go to the jewel is now giving us a fresh buy signal, maintaining the critical zone. Last time we had a buy signal in the critical zone was right over here, and see how much of a move we got. About 28% to the upside. The move we're
Holy
looking right
shit.
now is roughly 20%. Very, very, very cool. Maybe we go above 7,000 by a little bit, but 7,000 would be the target. 2-week right now is also just about to flip back up on momentum, putting in hidden bullish divergence with volatility just about to start expanding. And that will confirm as long as we get a close above, not really going to help much, above 6,166, which is basically our all-time high. And that will take us up to minimum 7,000. Two-week is now freshly flipping down on momentum with volatility in an expansion phase, and we're getting a pretty fucking epic sell signal on the jewel with a God mode background. So as it stands right now, if we do see a move to the upside, I would expect somewhere around 6,110 to be resistance. And even if we're going to be bullish, something like let's do my Picasso. This is what I would look for if we're going to be bullish. This is the bullish
Upside
scenario.
down octopus?
Cock and balls of roughly.
Oh,
If we're
those
going
are
to be bullish,
weird.
something like this. If we're going to be bearish, something like that. And then I would expect a little bit of a bounce here, maybe up
And
to this
balls.
point, and then this
Yeah,
is the bearish
4,000.
scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning towards the bearish scenario slightly right now, and I will get to that when I put on the RSI. It's not by that much though. It's like maybe 55% in the bearish camp and 45% in the bullish camp.
All right.
And it's also based off of this little signal on the jewel. Like if I mark this off, let's see the reaction. Let's do it a little bit before the cross. See how often we get these on the monthly on ES. March of 2022, May of 18. Interesting dates. If you remember, the Fed was hiking rates in 18.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have any more yellow. And then they instantly cut them to zero with COVID. It would be wonderful to get, oh, I don't know, actually, probably not that wonderful if we get into one of those rates are down to zero just like that.
I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think they're just going to come down naturally, very different from what everyone is used to right now.
I feel like if we did do one of those zero just like that, probably get a little spike up to the upside and then massive nuke afterwards.
Mega. Like people think it's bullish for rates to come down. It's actually very bearish at first, like for a very long time, like houses. Everyone thinking, oh, if they lower rates, everyone's going to buy a house. Well, everyone's going to have to get rid of the one that they're in at the same time. And that's going to cause a massive flood of inventory. That's going to be epic.
I'd like to buy a house in Cancun, so please do that.
You're actually good. I think you're a year or two away from it in Cancun.
So the immediate Dumpsky is roughly about 16%, very close to that 14% number we just got. Then somewhere around 22%. And as of now, we have not really gone down at all. We've gone down maybe 0.9%. Let's take it roughly 14%. Brings us to about 5,000. Let's take it about 20. Brings us perfectly down to this 55 EMA and a nice little retest of these of that 4,800 lows. Very interesting, and it would fill out my little meme line I drew for the bullish scenario. Get a nice little retest, put in a nice cock and balls pattern, and then send it. 2 week is trying to flip back up. Gives you the idea of getting that side little retest of that 38.2%. Like the cock and balls drawing at 6,100s. 6,100s item was going to be opportune short area because your stop loss is so small, and if it breaks that 61,110 area, it's likely going to go to significantly new all-time highs anyway. So you could just flip back long. Max opportunity short. You rarely get short opportunities that are that low in risk and that high probability. Right now, along with momentum flipping up, volatility is flipping down, so it's likely going to be a higher low. And you do have a sell signal on the jewel right here, pretty fucking epic one, with the pink crossing below the yellow right at the critical zone. And it takes you up somewhere around the median, right around 6,100s, right opportune short area. If you were to short this right over here, your stop loss is like it's like 1/4%. Whereas your minimum move is down to somewhere around this cluster of EMAs at around like 5,800. And you have like 5.6, 5.5% in your favor versus 1/4 against you. This is like 20 to 1 odds, if my math is correct. Absolutely insane. And then your more reasonable move to somewhere around this 55 EMA is like 13 or 14, 13 and a half, let's say. That is like 50 to 1 odds. You're probably kind of lobotomized if you don't take that trade, even if you're bullish. Weekly is also telling you that you're likely going to get a local top sometime soon, even if you're bullish, because we're getting to such extremes on momentum and volatility. We're over the 95% on the HPDR. Tells you you're probably going to get a little bit of a swipe up to that 6,000. So that 6,000 area is going to anywhere from 6,000 to 6,100 is max opportunity short. And you just put your stop loss at like 61.70. 5 days. Well, telling you probably gonna pull back. You're rejecting the 95%. You're getting momentum at 100%, volatility at 100%. It's a no-brainer short. 2 days now at the reset zone. Momentum volatility sitting at 0%. You're getting a sell signal on the jewel. You're dancing right around the median. Only hopium is right now you're getting a fresh silver cross, but with how the other time frames are looking, at the very least you're going to come down to retest somewhere around this silver cross, this 100 EMA. which that is, if you were to take it from somewhere around here, that's still a 3.5 to like 5% move to the downside, and your risk is less than 0.5%. Pretty amazing. I kind of want to take this myself on BTCC.
Yeah.
On the daily, I'm sorry.
As you were saying it, I was thinking about the people that tell us short Tesla and they don't short Tesla. I was like, are we not going to short this?
It's like, oh, I definitely am going to take this short.
Mm-hmm.
With that type of risk, I'm probably going to put it on like a 30, 40x.
You fucking sick man. You make me sick.
I can't wait to post that on traditional markets Twitter with a 40x short on S&P. Brought my crypto style to your traditional markets.
Beautiful. Boomers
And
won't be able to comprehend.
perpetuals on your boomer shit. Daily is also giving you the idea of one little swipe up before we go down, which will take us into our most beautiful short, most beautiful short. I think I'll post it for the Academy as well. The Academy always win. They always win. A lot of people have academies. They lose. They're all losers. Very sad. Very sad. Pathetic. But not us.
I want to hop in really hard on that, but I can't because I need to scream. So later, just give me an hour.
Daily is getting over that median, which would take us right around that 6,000 area. We're filling in this wick, probably getting people quite bullish, and then you would just dump it. Is it higher? Yeah, slightly higher. Yeah, slightly higher. That would be a perfect head and shoulders too. So 4 hour. 4 hours also pointing to the upside on momentum. Volatility is currently contracting. 4 hour is quite bullish considering you've completely skipped the neutral signal on the jewel and went straight to buy, and you did it in the bearish control zone. And you're getting to the top 38.2%. This is probably going to take you at least somewhere around the 88.3 that 88.3%, which right now sits at somewhere around just below 6,000. Now let's go into the RSI. Six-month has that hidden bullish divergence on the RSI, just like the HPDR momentum. And your next target is into the simple moving average, which right now sits at about 6,659. But this is a 6 month chart, and each candle is 6 months. So that move to the downside is not going to be even visible on this 6 month chart. 3 month currently has, this is the reason why I'm expecting that short term move to the downside, short to midterm move down, because 3 month currently has many drives of bearish divergence active, and it's going to be active as long as you're closing below about 6,166. And your next move is currently into the edge of the bearish control zone, which sits about 57.70, which would be that first TP area on the short. And then your next zone is the neutral zone at about like 47.50, which is the next TP. About 4,800 is the next TP zone. I like to front run these levels a little bit. Monthly is now put in the local bottom, giving you hidden bullish divergence, and it's going to be active as long as you're closing over about 4,832. So even if we do get that move to the downside, it's not going to invalidate your divergence. It's more likely just going to give you another drive of divergence and then send you more rapidly to the upside. And your target for expansion to the upside is the critical zone, which currently sits at about a very beautiful 7,000 number. 2 week also has many drives of hidden bullish divergence, going to be active as long as you're closing over 48.32. And on expansion, your target is the bullish control zone, which is about 65.60. Three-day currently has hidden bearish divergence active, very close to invalidation. It will be invalidated if you close above basically 6,008. And you do have a first silver cross to the upside on the 3-day. It gives, oh, no, never mind. I misread that. 4 hours about to put in a fresh drive of hidden bullish divergence. Goes along with that idea of that one more move to the upside before your pullback to around 6,000s. It will confirm if you close anywhere above 5,917. And that gives you a move into the simple moving average, which is right below 6,000 at around 5,940. And then your more reasonable target is or more probable target, considering you had 0% volatility, is going to be the neutral zone at about like roughly 6,000. The bullish control zone is at 6,000, also 6,100. This is the perfect area, right around 6,080, 6,100. Anywhere from there, I would start scaling shorts. And this is probably going to be one of those situations where you get false volatility expansion on the move to the upside to right around 6,000, 6,100, and then the real volatility expansion from there. Yo, Alex, would you mind posting that chart real quick? From about 6,050 to 6,050 to 6,100. Stop loss 6,170.
You might have to repeat that when he comes back. I can see his chair.
Okay.
I know he's hearing us though.
Let's go to the momentum chart. Let's have these fibs drawn because you've been here for a while. Very interesting how we went beautifully to our nice 161.8%. Came all the way down to the 61.8%. The next move is into the 261.8%, right around 685, a little bit below that 7,000 number. And momentum is freshly pointed back up to the upside on the 6 month, putting in hidden bullish divergence on the stochastic as well, and it pointed up above 48.76. And remember how these pivots like to get tested. So even if we are bullish, and we get our short and we do resolve going to the upside, we are still heavily fucking printing off of this short, even going down to 5,000. Because a move from here to 5,000 is, let's take it from 6,000. That's close to 20%. What do you call it? 20% to the downside. And if you were to use even 5x leverage on that, you're risking 2.5% to make 100%. I like that. 3 month is not, it's still currently flipped to the downside. However, it's likely going to flip back up if we do continue closing over what would validate our hidden bullish divergence, which has already been confirmed on our HPDR momentum and the jewel. So the only thing left is to confirm it on the what do you call it, the stochastic, and that will also confirm it on the RSI. The only two that have not confirmed it yet is the stochastic and the RSI, and that will also maintain the critical zone. But right now, you are flipped down below 61.43. Got about 28 days left to go. I believe the monthly is up. Yeah, the monthly is very, very close to flipping up with volatility just at the full reset point, sitting at below 10%. And we've gotten a monthly close over all of our major EMAs. But same scenario as before, even if we are bullish, probably do get a little bit of a pullback near that 6,000 area. Monthly is going to flip up in 28 days if we can close above 6,065. 2 week has already flipped to the upside, and it's going to remain up, rejecting the bearish control zone above 51.23. Weekly is also to the upside, just about to give volatility expansion, and it will be up above 55.60. 5 days as well to the upside, up above 53.68. 2 days now freshly flipped down, and it with that silver cross, and we are going to be flipped down below 6,003. It is very, very high probability that the local bottom is in, considering we got a nice retest of the silver cross, and now we're still holding the 9. And I think the daily is going to be up, I'm guessing. Yep, daily is now freshly flipping up. Come on, where's the pivot? And it will flip up as long as we close over about 5,904. And 4 hours now supporting that idea as well. Freshly flipped to the upside with 2 periods of 0% volatility, and it will be up above 58.85. So on the high time frames, S&P is looking pretty bullish, like we're going to hit new all-time highs. but it doesn't mean that we're not going to get any pullbacks in between. And what's likely going to happen after basically up only from the lows of about 23%, as they're probably going to approach that 6,000 to 6,100 resistance. Probably going to reject that the first half around, fill in somewhat of this candle, put in another drive of hidden bullish divergence, and from there go to all-time highs. And that would take us, based on the low time frames, which are currently flipped up, and the medium ones, which are down. On the low ones, take us up to that resistance with that 4-hour volatility expansion and that hidden bullish divergence, somewhere around that 6,080, maybe 6,100. Very, very high probability projection, because if you break 6,170, you're probably going to zoom to new all-time highs. Very, very small invalidation, and then the first move from that 6,100 area, probably into somewhere around 5,800. The next one is 5,300, then 5,000 flat and 4,800. Those are all your TP areas. And somewhere around 5,000 to 4,800 is where I would go max long, with the stop loss at somewhere around 4,000, let's say 4,000.
Wait,
4,750.
Where would you go max long?
Around 48s.
Got it.
Anywhere in the 48s. And the stop loss would be at 4,800.
Mm.
And then I would expect to move from 48s to somewhere around 7,000, and that's probably going to be our blow off top. And the invalidation of all of that is getting of completely going to not going to new all-time highs, is getting a move below 4,800. If that happens, then I'm going to shift even more heavily in the favor of the top being in, and we're probably going to just go down from there. But right now, the idea is a little bit of a move up to tap that resistance, 6,050 to 6,100, and then move down into somewhere about like 58 to 5,300, possibly 5,000s, and then from there, new all-time highs.
Very, very nice and easy, honestly. Well, once you present the information, it's easy for me because I can just copy it. What was I going to say?
That's me with Alex.
Say it again.
That's me with Alex.
There you go. We're all just copying each other. We don't know who's starting it. It's just terrible. Well, don't worry, guys. I'm just copying them. So don't worry. No one's copying me. In case that people are worried, like, wait, you might be copying. Don't worry about that. We're copying these guys.
Don't worry, fellas. I'm copying Alex.
Okay, we're gonna do Roblox after this.
I'm gonna take a pissaroni.
Sounds good. Enjoy your pissaroni. Y Ramón, me estás diciendo de las alertas y que Discord son dos cosas diferentes. Las alertas que mandamos y las que hay en Discord son dos cosas diferentes. Si solamente y no entiendes lo que está pasando y te estás confundiendo, solamente pon atención a las alertas. En Discord está mandándote cortos de 2 horas, de 1 hora, de diferentes temporalidades, güey. Estás literalmente, creo que no están entendiendo cómo funciona esto. Hay trades dentro de trades. Puedes hacer movimientos chicos con un chingo de leverage, puedes hacer movimientos grandes con poco leverage. Hay diferentes cosas que hacer. Y las alertas son las alertas, te llegan las alertas, ahí las tienes todas, están bien explicadas, ahí te pone cómo leer las alertas. Y lo que Alex dice en Discord que te confunde, simplemente está haciendo otro tipo de trades dentro de los trades. No tomes esos, solamente toma lo de las alertas. Es lo que yo diría. Y la razón por qué es para que no te compliques. Una vez que tengas eso ya al 100, te metes a lo demás. No te confundas, cabrón. Ok, estamos viendo el SP500 con la gran descorrelación, ¿no? Que nos había contado todo el mundo de Bitcoin, que está haciendo exactamente lo mismo. Ok. Importante, tenemos nuestro máximo histórico por acá. Venimos y nos chingamos esto acá en, ¿cómo se llama? Este fue nuestro mínimo ahorita de, pues, los aranceles, güey. Es que los aranceles, qué crisis, ¿no? Causaron los aranceles. ¿Ya se recuperaron todos de los aranceles? ¿Ya están bien? O ya quebraron todos sus negocios, ¿no? Bola de pendejos. No ustedes, obviamente. Pero bueno, a lo que voy con esto es, estamos viendo el SP500, tenemos nuestro máximo histórico y tenemos un súper rebote con muchísima fuerza que aprovechamos en estas compras, ¿no? Estaban ya muy castigado todo y pues fue justamente el escenario que se dio. Por ahora, estamos justamente en el SP500 acá, se había puesto el HPDR y estamos entrando justamente en la zona azul. Nuestro siguiente objetivo, y esta es la mejor manera de verlo, honestamente, está por acá. Y acá es donde vamos o a tocar a máximos históricos o no. Esto es lo que creemos ahorita vamos a hacer. Si podemos romper la zona de los 5,962, vamos a estos 6,000, 6,087 hasta los 6,100. Y aquí es donde nosotros esperaríamos tener un súper corto para poder aprovechar que llegue alrededor de esta zona, que tenga un take profit, ¿no? Pues hacerlos un poco diferente, pero sería más o menos así. You say something? No. Ok. Sería así. Por ahora, el primer movimiento que estamos viendo va a ser a los 6,000 y tal vez hacer un alto histórico. Tal vez, porque está muy cerca. Y de aquí lo que vemos es un rechazo porque la tabla en largo plazo es más bajista. Y ahorita en la diaria, por ejemplo, estamos justamente abriendo por encima de esto y esto nos debería llevar tranquilamente al 61,8%, que eso nos pone por encima de la primera resistencia y de ahí al 88,3% semanal. Y esto se los había enseñado la vez pasada. Y esto fue justamente lo que dijimos la semana pasada. Estamos ya aquí arriba. Aquí en el 95% necesitamos consolidar. Esperaría yo que vengamos hasta acá, a la línea verde, meme por acá, en los 6,087, y ahí nos dé el rechazo que nos lleve para abajo. ¿Por qué tenemos ese objetivo tan bajo en el SP500? Es por esto, creo. Un segundo, dejen que mi tabla refresque. ¿Sigo en vivo? Sí. Ok. Simplemente TradingView se está tardando. O no, no sigo en vivo. Sí, sí sigo en vivo. Puedo ver mis precios moverse. Ok, me doy una refrescada. Ahí está. Ok. Estábamos yendo a la mensual. Y en la mensual, justamente estamos en la parte baja de la zona azul. Si llegamos espérame, esto es Bitcoin. Felicidades, Alejandro. En la mensual, ahí está. Lo que nosotros estaríamos esperando en la mensual es básicamente venir a buscar este EMA 55. Es donde estaríamos entrando en máxima oportunidad de long, más o menos, por ahí del 4,800. Y cualquier cosa por debajo de esta línea meme, lo cortas. Eso sería la mejor manera de aprovecharlo. Por ahora, y puesto sencillo, honestamente, voy a quitar esto para que no se me vayan a confundir, tíos. Por ahora, primer movimiento debería de ser, una vez más, necesitamos consolidar. No estoy diciendo que instantáneamente esto vaya a pasar mañana y que después, pasado mañana, vaya a dar el segundo movimiento. Primer movimiento, acá. Segundo movimiento, acá. ¿Ok? Y tenemos, una vez más, nuestro objetivo para entrar en long sería acá, en los 4,800. Entonces, primer movimiento, para arriba. Segundo movimiento, para abajo. Y el tercero, ese gran rebote para arriba, para que no se me confundan todos. Esto es en temporalidades altas, así que va a tomar bastante tiempo. No crean que esto se va a dar de un día para otro, pero interesante que la última vez que pasó esto, lo que están viendo con este wicazo que dimos, fue en COVID. O sea, esto fue una mamada de vela súper predatoria que literalmente no hizo nada. ¿Dónde sabemos si estamos mal? Básicamente, si rompemos aquí a la alza y empezamos a consolidar por encima, deberíamos ir a los 7,000. Pero creemos que primero vamos a ir para abajo antes de llegar a los 7,000. Creemos que esto es lo que va a pasar. 6,000 y cacho. Ponte tú. Por acá, digamos que no le damos al objetivo y se para en los 5,300, ¿no? Que viene ya así esto. Y acá a los 7,000 y de ahí abajo de esto. Es más o menos lo que estamos esperando con el SP500. Y ahí lo tienen. Así que vámonos a Roblox. I pulled myself out of the stream like a total genius. One second.
Oh, good. I thought I wasn't sharing my screen. Yeah,
No, no, no. It's just my retardedness, Alex. Please be patient with me. Bear with me. It's too early.
No worries at all. It is a Monday stream, I think, right? It is Monday, yeah.
Okay. It is a Monday stream. For me, it started just at 3:30 in the morning. Just nice and chill.
I'll never forget when I was in Kauai years ago, when they first opened the island after COVID. I took my mom, sister. It was amazing. The time zone was really bad and it was messing me up, just kind of was off. And then I remember I like overslept or something and all my clocks were showing 3 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. It seemed like morning. I was so like distraught. My sister had woken up right in the morning and changed every single clock on the car rental and the house. Oh, that fucked with me.
Dude, the
I-
time, this is the stupidest time zone in the world. Like, I really think so. It's
No, it is.
straight up. It's
Yeah,
like 6 hours below New York, 3 hours below California. Like you're not even Europe. Like you're just in the middle of nothing.
I'm not
It's
gonna lie. If you want the tropic vibes, just go to Thailand. You get that plus the ganja is legal there.
Well,
they
I'd
have
actually
cool
rather go to Cancun.
Really?
It's legal in
Mhm.
Hawaii though, but it's medical. Hawaii is
Yeah.
cool. I'll say this.
Come
Hawaii
join
has
us.
better vibes. They have good vibes in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. It's nice. Just Cancun, the food's so much better. Like this is kind of like a tourist trap. We're in a Four Seasons, and it's
Oh.
like the pools are like packed. It's just like white dudes, like older white dudes with super young girls everywhere. It's crazy.
I can't stand packed places.
I
Hate
hate
that
it
shit
too.
so much.
It looks so trashy too, and it's like a very expensive hotel.
Just full of people taking videos and drinking, and it's
Yeah,
just, I'm just like,
terrible.
That's why me and Alex do Airbnbs instead of hotels.
oh yeah.
That's what I was telling Belen.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Hawaii is nice though. I still think Foreign
Yeah.
should go in his life, and I want to go with him once.
I don't want to give my money to people who hate me for being there.
That's okay.
Mm.
That's okay.
Well, every vacation destination is kind of like that, but yeah.
The people in Cancun are very welcoming.
They are though. No,
Yeah.
Hawaiian, Swiss, yeah, not nice people, and nothing personal if you're that. It's just my experience was that.
Definitely
course.
personal for me if you're that, especially if you're French.
Yeah.
His words, not mine, boys.
Uh,
Anyways, Roblox here. You know, Roblox is strong, and it was hard when we were mapping it out because we really wanted that pullback to the 9. It seemed prime, but then it was like there's not really anything telling us it was going to do that other than just structure. That was it. You had the higher high, you wanted the higher low, you wanted the retest flip of the wick high. We talked about this, and then if we held that, the objective then would be the $94 region. So we didn't actually get that at all, and that's okay. That to me shows strength, and this can just move the 9 up more. This will eventually get tapped, don't get it twisted, but it just wasn't when we wanted it to happen. It came slightly above, and that's fine. So now what we have to now gauge is this isn't a no trade zone on shorts and longs. You're now just patiently sitting on your hands and watching this extremity high at $93.96. This is a big zone for Roblox. This is either just going to be the big retest where we're going to reject hard, or we're going to reclaim this, and this then will consolidate for a bit, and then potentially go all the way up to 104s. You have 4 green weekly candles. So if you are bullish, your best bet would be, yeah, we go up to here. You either slightly pull back. Let's see where the 5 is. Okay, so you know either slightly pull back, the 5 moves up more. We're very bullish, so we've been riding the 5. That's generally what happens when you're really bullish. You ride the 5 first, you lose the 5, you go to the 9, and then we could potentially just form another higher low before going up. The easier trade for me would be a reclaim and then just consolidation, maybe a weekly bull flag and then go up. For me now, it seems less likely that we're going to go to $77.75. And if we do go to $77.50 region, to me, that'll be slightly concerning because we start taking out this low. Let me do this. We start taking out this weekly low. It'll be slightly questionable to me. But again, we will eventually test the weekly 9, but the weekly 9 can definitely keep moving up as this goes up. But that will be the spot. You lose the weekly 9, I'll be bearish on this chart, specifically where it's positioned. You start deviating the meme lines. Yeah, at that point, this is going to be in territory to go down minimum to the 21 at $69 for the culture. Probably a wick down to the $66.70 region. There you want it to hold. What you're noticing is you broke out, you never retested the meme line, and then you went up. So if you did end up really coming down, losing the weekly 9, I'm not saying it's over. It just would be bullish retest simply. And this would be the scenario where you take out max over leveraged longs essentially. And that could happen still, even when you come, let's say, in the $93 region, very easily could happen, move down to the $76, lose that, and then come down to 66. That would be a nice flush. And I would get probably, 29% would definitely get most out. What you'd get from that would be a simply monthly EMA9 retest. You get that monthly higher low, and then you could start talking about going to the hundreds. Roblox is extremely bullish, though. It's very strong, but it's still in a no trade zone. I mean, you just don't want to be caught with your pants down in the middle of this. It's not good because this very easily could come all the way down to $77 from here even, or could easily go up to 94s and then reject. And that's why it's in a no trade zone, because it's just harder to gauge. Let's check the HPDR. Still at the extremes. You can notice here that the 100% is now at $95.75. So again, just good confluence on why this is kind of a good spot to find consolidation, maybe a weekly bull flag forms after 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of consolidation up here, or a rejection, and that'll just lead to the higher low on the monthly, and you go down to that $68, $66 for the flush out. For me, though, it's hard to really see Rivian or Roblox, not Rivian, Roblox go up much from here rather than to 94. And that's just simply based on just the fact that, we just haven't had a pullback. But then when I'm seeing BBWP, I'm like, well, actually, it actually could keep going up, actually, on the flip side. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why opinions don't matter. It's all about the data here. And the data totally conflicts with what I just said, because 2-week BBWP is very strong, and it's hitting the 50%. You could put your tinfoil hat, say, well, maybe we'll roll over here like there, but no, this is looking strong. And even when you're viewing the chart here, it's like, any move down to 77s to $76 will be an opportunity. That could be looked at as the 2-week higher low zone. Nice flip of that wick high as well. Really, this will be the opportunity. Now, again, you lose that, your weekly 9 gets lost. Cool, $67 will be the spot then. But until then, this literally could go up to 94s. If you start seeing dailies reclaim 94s, next target will be if you start really seeing dailies reclaim 94s, next target will be 104. Because that was a tongue twister for a second. Look at that. It's crazy. Honestly, it really most likely will do this, though. Just get your structure, reclaim a bit, consolidate, and then move up. 94s though is a big spot, and if we go to the monthly and just check, or let's go to the 2-week and check, there's not been much data of reclaims of 94. You have a nice move up from 60s all the way up. You did wick up, hit the 104 region, so where we got resistance, and then you lost it, and then you stayed under it, and then again you broke out. And then, Roblox, we know this. It always, once it breaks out from this $94 region, it always, every time, likes to retest it. The difference here is the retest never holds, right? This should have held and it didn't. And then this broke out, no FOMO, whatever, missed it. Let's wait for the retest. Now, the retest did hold here, and we moved up. But your cause of concern was the fact that the 2-week didn't reclaim the EMA9, or no, EMA5. Yeah, EMA5 right here on the 2-week, but most importantly, we didn't really reclaim that wick high. And then you see, we went up, but didn't close above it, and then we nuked. So you got to hold the throwback here. So if we start going back to this scenario, if you really start coming up to that 94s, and let's say we just bigly break out, 104s, 105s gets hit, we're not really going to have much FOMO because, it's just how it always is. If it just does this, we know it should at least then hold this zone, or the extremity will be here. And it's not until you really start closing 2 weeks under 104 where you're just back within this range. And then you lose the 94 region, then you have potential to go all the way down to 77. So until then, 94 seems like the next stop, specifically off just how 2-week BBWP looks. I'd honestly not be longing this, though. I just not be playing this right now. I mean, you just have a 12-hour higher high even done.
Yeah.
So there's just no point to be longing this now. There's also no point to be shorting this right now. This literally can easily go up a little bit more. and then roll over, and then you can easily get a monthly higher low based on that monthly 5 right here. So just sit on your hands. I think you'll make more money just sitting on your hands because when you get the weekly, the 2-week, and then this next monthly, you'll have a lot of clarity. Now, right, if you want a more lower time frame though, you'll know that this is going to break down once the daily 34 gets lost. The daily 34 is kind of that extremity low. You need that to hold. If that doesn't hold, next target will be the EMA 100. Luckily for us, it's very lined up nicely. Extremity support, meme line support, extremity low right here, range breakdown target. Essentially, you lose this meme line, my next target is right here at $66.98. You lose the 34, my system says next target is the EMA 100. So that at least can just be the nice that's at least nice, the nice point of view. So okay, if we start coming down to here, daily trend has shifted, we're now in a downtrend. Do we lose the daily 34? Okay, we do. Awesome. Then you can start looking to short this. But until then, just kind of waiting to see the reaction at 94s, and then that's it. I will say you'll probably see some rejection, at least on like an hourly from here, but it's going to be very important if bulls start really reclaiming this on like a daily, 12-hour even. Then this could be implications that we're going to go and test that 104 again. So that's all I have on Roblox. Still very strong chart, and I want to pull back, and the pullbacks are opportunity zones, but you're not really getting that. So that's
just fucking going up.
It is. And I'm like, well, you can't just keep going up. And then I look at 2-week BBWP and I'm like, oh, no, you actually could keep going up. Damn.
By the way, I was wondering, like, how the fuck did I get this target to like 100? It was through this. This was a little
beautiful United States pattern.
Exactly.
I see California, I see Texas, I see Florida.
Yeah, that's clean.
There's one in one though, because there's this one, and then there's this one, which this one's going to be huge, and then there's the top, which is crazy. Roblox is looking good. Imagine if you started buying this at 30s. Imagine. Vale, estamos viendo Roblox, damas y caballeros, bastante sencillo. Algo, me encanta este gráfico, honestamente, es de mis cosas favoritas. Esto todavía estoy esperando a que Willy me diga que si algo va a quitarle el trono a Roblox, y espero que no, porque ahí vamos. Número 1, tenemos nuestro mínimo justamente en los 21 que hicimos el 2022, por supuesto, pero también tenemos un máximo justamente en los $141, ¿no? Eso fue cuando salió la acción. Algo interesante cómo hizo Alex sus líneas fue esto. Puso una línea en 94 por esto. Y la voy a poner acá, la segunda, y ahorita van a ver por qué. Por ahora están viendo que se está formando un patrón de cup and handle. Para empezar, la zona para mí a romper ahí son los 94, porque es donde empezó. Yo lo pondría aquí, cierres arriba en 94, es donde esto se va a volver una explosión a la alza, todavía más loca de lo que hemos visto, y eso nos pondría con un objetivo de, veamos, de 166. Déjame prendo el HPDR en la mensual a ver cómo se ve. Estamos, pero en rojo vivo, por lo que tenemos que consolidar por acá. Yo creo que sí podemos llegar aquí a los 100 o a mínimo a casi los 100 entre esta zona, pero necesitamos definitivamente consolidar por un poco, porque estamos en extremos, lo pueden ver acá. Voy a acercarme a la semanal. Semanal también está llegando a estos extremos, 97% es justamente acá, en los 92.74. Va a ser una zona donde encontremos un poco de pelea, entonces esperaría yo un poco más de reconsolidación, más bien consolidación de precio. 5 días, estás ya en el 97.5%. ¡Wow! No mames, qué fuerza tiene esta tabla. Pero al mismo tiempo estás viendo cómo nuestra diaria no está absolutamente quemada en nada. Estamos acá y puede dar continuación al 88.3% que está una vez más, 94. Y si estamos viendo que en temporalidades altas estamos en 95, 97, los 100 se vienen próximos. Ok, con eso dicho, ¿qué estamos esperando? ¿Y qué estamos viendo? Este es el movimiento contado de esto. Y eso nos debería poner casi en los 94, 96, que es justamente lo que hemos estado viendo estos días. Nada mal, ¿no? Lo que nosotros pensamos es que en lo que llegamos para arriba vamos a tener consolidación y probablemente retrocesos. Primera zona de oportunidad estaría para largos, obviamente, para agregar en 80 bueno, en los 83 más o menos, date $2 para arriba, $2 para abajo. La siguiente zona van a ser tal cual los 80. Y la última zona para agregar, donde yo personalmente pienso que va a venir el precio, va a ser más o menos por acá en los 75. ¿Por qué? Porque fue difícil romper esta línea meme verde. Pero aquí me protegería pensando que este wick es lo que va a contar. Entonces, ¿qué espero? Que haga esto, tal vez esto, esté jugando un rato por acá, venga para acá, y bolas, güey. Y ahí sí ya nos da el movimiento real. No me queda muy claro qué va a pasar primero, pero definitivamente no tienes un trade acá. No es zona de corto, porque esto tranquilamente puede irse a los 100. No estás en zona de long acá, porque simplemente no se para y estás solamente por encima del promedio del 5, lo puedes ver acá. Y yo creo que el promedio, tienes que serlo prudente, el promedio del 9 es la mejor oportunidad en este tipo de situaciones, y después el promedio del 21 y luego finalmente el 34, que coincide con los 73, la línea meme, y eso te pone en una muy buena situación, digamos. Pero Roblox se ve duro, duro, duro. Una de mis favoritas, honestamente, todavía. No creo que haya mucha competencia y creo que siguen creciendo un paso ridículo donde va a estar difícil para alguien alcanzarlos, aunque inteligencia artificial está saliendo y todo eso, ¿no? Pero por ahora Roblox se ve muy alcista, creando altos, altos más altos, bajos más altos, bajos más altos en todos lados. Y acá viniendo a apoyarse en el SMA 200, hubiera sido la oportunidad perfecta en el cruce del SMA 200 y el EMA 100 para comprar, porque una vez que tuviste el breakout del 100, el retesteo fue este putazo para arriba, y ahora lo que vas a ver es simplemente más o menos este tipo de acción parecida a esta aquí arriba, antes del siguiente movimiento para arriba y buscar nuevos máximos históricos. Uf, bien por Roblox. Bien, bien, bien. Nada mal. Mr. Farhan, we're ready. Is RSG, whatever the fuck I sent, did you get it?
Yep.
What is it? Can you please tell me so I can write it?
RGC.
Got it. Thank you. RGC here. And there you go.
Switch it to RGC. Holy shit. How much? Let me switch it to the monthly and see how much of a monthly candle this is. 1,626% in 1 month candle. So
Not
that's a
bad.
16x on your money in 1 month. That's not bad at all. And notice how we went exactly to the top 38, top 100%, and that's where we find our resistance. And as of right now, what's more likely than not, like it actually gives you a percentage chance. You have a 100% chance, let's say 99% chance of at the very least coming down to retest this 5 EMA. And that
What the
is
fuck is this?
so far down, so far fucking down. That's insane. This is what happens when you get these massive up only moves, is that your next support level is massively to the downside. Because right now your 5 EMA is sitting like almost 40% below price action at the moment. Good fucking lord. Momentum is sitting at 100%, volatility is sitting at 100%. It's extremely unlikely that we're going to get up from here. Probably going to retest somewhere around this area. And if you're not in the short already, it's probably not worth taking because your risk is so big. This is going to be like 25% to the upside, maybe like a 2x short. I guess you could still make money on 2x because you would get like 40% to the downside, like 35% to the downside versus 25% to the upside. It's not something that the risk to reward is there, in my opinion.
Damn.
Let me take one of these and see if any relevant targets have been hit. Yeah, we
Relevant
have got
targets.
We have gone straight to the 161.8%. And the interesting thing is when we come back down to do a retest, slightly below this in the 5 EMA brings us to our support area, right around $363, which is a little bit lower than I thought we'd go. I thought we'd probably bounce somewhere around the 5 EMA, but to be honest, it's not really that crazy after a 1,600% move down. I mean, move up to see like a 50 to 60% pullback. Not really that crazy. And your next target from $363, which I'm not saying it's going to go to, but your next target would be good fucking lord, $6,871. But by Fibonacci rules, you would need 3 solid closures above this 161.8% to then start the trend towards this area right here. And spoiler alert, I don't think this is going to happen. I think maybe you're going to get somewhat of a bounce from this $363 area. Probably you're going to get a very significant bounce. Probably going to take you somewhere around like maybe even all the way up to like $800, which is more than a 100% move. But I feel like you're going to get a rejection from here, and you're probably going to close below this 161.8%. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I just don't see this thing going to $6,800. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the market cap is. I just don't think it goes to $6,800. That's just my gut saying that. Maybe my gut's wrong.
But by the way, who would have seen this move? Let me just, so that you can laugh real quick. Hold on to your chart right there. Let me share my chart with you. We were analyzing down there.
What the fuck?
You see what I'm saying? Like, how we were looking at this before the breakout.
Whoever suggested this, can you hit my DMs? I need to borrow some money.
Please, for the love of God, holy, look at, I mean, just look at this.
Like,
We
like,
even
bro, it's nothing to you.
Just fucking lost track of it. It's ridiculous.
It's like how people hit you in the DMs on Instagram. It's nothing to you, bro. Just give me a little bit of money. Look how much you're up.
Dude, even with $1,000, my God.
1,600% on $1,000 in 1 month. Oh my God. You just put in $10,000, you just made $160,000 in 1 month.
Unreal. Like a
2 week
crypto.
also, yeah, probably more insane than most cryptos. It's like you bought Pepe or some shit before it
Yeah.
exploded, or Trump coin.
Yeah. Trump. That's right.
I love it how I put on my Uber Eats deliveries to leave it at the door, and 99% of the time they'll start knocking and saying I'm here. I'm not opening the door. On the 2 week we're at 100% on momentum and at volatility. Goes along with the idea of the pullback, and we're at the 100% on the HPDR. It's very unlikely we're going to close over this 100%. More likely that we're going to come back down and test at the very least somewhere around this $550 to $560 zone. But I'm strongly in the camp that we're going to go a lot lower. Probably going to go somewhere around this $363 area. And imagine how many people saw this vertical move to the upside on 1,600% move up, who ended up getting into long somewhere around this zone here at like $800. Those guys are going to get wiped, even if we are going to continue going up. And right now, the jewel's just, but it's giving you a God mode background. It hasn't quite switched to a sell signal just yet, but once you do switch to a sell signal, that's going to be painful. These vertical moves up usually lead to vertical moves down. The harder they rise, the harder they fall. On the weekly, you're also at 100% on both momentum and volatility. Same God mode signal in the background. Very likely you're going to come back down at a minimum to retest that $550 to $600 zone, but I'm thinking a lot lower. I wish they would have recommended this to me like a few days ago, so I could have taken the short a little higher. 5 days got a 5 day also at double extremes, 100% volatility and momentum, same God mode background. 2 day as well, getting to very extreme areas, but now we started our contraction. Momentum is going down, volatility is going down. Have we switched to neutral yet? Let's see. Not quite. We're still on a buy signal on the jewel, but we had the God mode background. If we start to lose the $650 area, this is where the jewel is going to start shifting into a sell signal, and this volatility is going to start expanding. And we're probably going to get a move somewhere around $500 for our first bounce, and then somewhere around high threes to low fours. daily as well as getting momentum, just about to get a flip down with the God mode background. It is likely going to be a higher low based off of the jewel giving you the pink still above the yellow. We had that crossover here, but a higher low on this thing can take us all the way down to like, as long as we're above this area here, we're still making higher lows, which is $240. That's, let's say we came to around 55 EMA, that would still be a higher low. It's 73% pullback. Pullback. The better word is
Yeah.
crash. What are you talking about, bro? It's making a higher low.
Now it's a $10 billion company.
On the 4 hour, it's also getting momentum, flipping down with volatility contraction, telling you likely a higher low, but it's still a higher low above $240. So it doesn't really help you much. And the jewel is still on a buy signal. Once you start losing this 5 EMAs, when the pullback is really going to start getting activated, and that takes you down towards somewhere around the 21 at $575. God, the swings on this thing are insane. Gambler's paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Bioscience. I don't know what the fuck bioscience is.
No clue either.
Let me respond real quick to my girlfriend. She says somebody knocking at the door and she's scared.
Bioscience. Co-founder says banks are very
Fuck.
interested. Oh no, that's USDT. What happened?
My phone just started playing some random music. I had to silence that shit quickly.
Oh. This chart is insane.
Good fucking lord! It's literally just let me make my moving averages disappear, and this is what's going to really put it into perspective. This is like the cardiac machine where it's a straight line. Then your coffee outside. Pin? Oh, sorry. Pin 8570. 8570. My bad. No divergence here because we made significantly higher highs. We'd have to make a new higher high on price to make a possibility of a bearish divergence. No possibility of divergence on this one either. We have an active hidden bullish divergence, although it's safe to say that the target has been hit considering we did a 1600% move to the upside. Where are we right now on the RSI? We're at the 98 level. Good lord. I'm like 99.9% of things will never see the 98 level on the RSI. Bitcoin didn't see the 98 level on the RSI when it went in like 2 months to $20,000. No, is it a, yep, is that a lower high? I can't really see. You gotta zoom in a lot. I can't tell. Is this a lower high or is it the same? I think it's an ever so slightly lower high. God, I feel so retarded right and blind right now. I do think this is a lower high. Lower high with a higher high on price gives you bearish divergence on the 2 week. Zoom out a little bit. Although it has not been confirmed yet, and to confirm it, you would have to close below about $476, which is significantly below price action right now. That $363 target, however, would confirm the divergence, and that will give you a move not really that much lower into about $358. Basically, exactly that $363 area, giving a lot of confluence to that 363 area. 5-day, nope. Double extreme on the moment. I mean, volatility. No. 2 days giving you some possible bearish divergence. You got to close below about $476 to confirm it. Your target would be not much lower at 414. So this likes to do the divergences where basically it's already been played out on the confirmation.
But those
Daily
are,
is
yeah, exactly. Those are bullish, right?
yeah. Those do end up resolving to the upside. Even though you have like a what is that? 50%, more than 50, 60% pullback in quotation marks. I think the better word to use for 60% is crash, but that's me. You can do you
But
on
not
the
on
daily.
this.
Or a shitcoin, because the only thing that's similar to this, where 60% move down will be a bullish, is the shitcoin.
Yeah.
It's bullish dumping. The daily is about to put in a fresh drive of bearish divergence, and it will confirm with any close below $789, and that will give us a target of somewhere around this neutral zone, which currently sits at about $470. God, that's so far down. What you would probably do if this divergence confirms is take a short anywhere around $780, probably even here, to be honest, because it's not that far, and then you would aim for that $470 area. And you wouldn't even really need much leverage, like a 2x. Although I don't think this is on perpetual, so you would have to buy puts. 4 hours, putting in another drive of bearish divergence, it will confirm below $890, which also goes along with the loss of the 5 EMA, giving you a minimum target of somewhere around this neutral zone, which currently sits at about $408. Now let's go to momentum. When I first heard RGC, my mind went to IRGC for some reason. And I was like, they have a stock that's the
What is that?
Iranian military.
Oh.
It's like, wait a second, they have a stock. Monthly is currently, let's see if we have enough data. No, we don't. Monthly is currently strongly flipped to the upside as long as price is above about $40. And we are currently at $768. Wow. We are projected to open in the next monthly open. Let me zoom in into the bullish control zone, which I think it's safe to say we're going to close over $40.
I would assume so, but you can never be too sure.
Imagine that we go up to 800 or almost $1,000, and then the same candle close below 40.
That'd be fucking epic. That'd be so good. I like chaos.
That'd be the most entertaining chart I've seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Wow, that was quite a powerful silver cross.
Probably the most powerful ever.
And momentum is currently flipped up on the 2-week above $470. Wow, very interesting, because we're looking for this area to get retested. Weekly is currently also pointed up above 594. 5 days currently pointed up above 396. 2 days currently pointed up above 631. Daily is just about to flip down at 3 hours below 900. And 4 hours currently flip down and will remain to the downside below 831. So on the high time frames, this thing is looking like it's topped out. It's got a very insane move to the upside, did 1600% to the upside. In 1 monthly green dildo, momentum still remains to the upside as long as you're above around $400 basically. The monthly pivot is not very relevant right now because it's sitting somewhere around $40, and this pivot is likely going to change on this next monthly open because you're getting into the bullish control zone. But even if it goes up, what is it going to go up to? $300, $400? Still way lower than where price action is right now. And if you were to take it based off of the fibs and getting to the 100% range on the HPDR, that would give us a target of hitting somewhere around $363. And that is a very significant pullback. That's like a 60% move to the downside. But as long as we're sitting over $240 and closing over $240, it's still making a higher low and still would likely retest at the very least somewhere around these highs. What I'm thinking is the move to somewhere around $363 is going to be an easy short. And then from there, I'd probably take a long back to somewhere around $800 to $900. And then I'd probably just sit on my hands and not do anything. Because at that point, it could either break out very massively or it could just reject and make a lower high. But you've already made enough money from shorting it to the 400 and then longing it back to 800. You don't need to get greedy. So the overall idea for this right now is mid to long term topped, and for short term probably going to get a nice little pullback. I say pullback, but I really mean crash to somewhere around $400. I do expect, even if we're going to be bearish, to get a very strong bounce from $400. And my personal opinion, which doesn't really mean anything, is that we're going to reject and probably not make a higher high. Although I could be wrong. If we do make a higher high, based off of the fibs in the next couple of years, you can see $6,000. I
Calm
don't think
down.
that's gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we're probably just gonna. I think we're probably just gonna make a lower high and probably start a downtrend from there.
Oh, well, that's very, very, absolutely crazy is what I would say. Let's, you guys can be done today a little bit earlier since I've been up since fucking 2 in the morning here in Hawaii, and I didn't have dinner last night to go to sleep early. I need to eat something this morning. I haven't eaten since 10 a.m. yesterday. It's 7 a.m. right now.
Seriously, if you want to order you some Uber Eats.
Yeah. No, thank God I just need to go to the lobby. But yeah, thank you so much for that. That was crazy. This is a stupid chart, and I love it. Anything you boys before you go want to share, say, look at, etc.?
No, good
Not
stream.
much.
Have a good
Cleaning
weekend.
lady is about to get here in 10 minutes, I think.
All right, well, good shit. And remember, stay hydrated, guys. Drink only spring water. Don't drink fucking purified water.
Only drink water, people.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Great plug. Appreciate you.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Yes,
Buenas tardes and hasta luego, muchachos.
Hasta luego, muchachos. Ok, vamos a cerrar esto un poco temprano con RGC. Me dormí muy temprano anoche, no fui a cenar para poder hacer este stream, despertarme a las 2 de la mañana y estar aquí con ustedes. Son las 7 ya de la mañana acá, entonces me voy a lanzar a desayunar. Pero antes les voy a enseñar este gráfico que está chistosísimo. RGC, lo estábamos analizando aquí abajo. Para que tengan una idea de lo que acaba de pasar, lo estábamos analizando aquí abajo. Voy a hacer esto para que puedan darse una buena perspectiva de lo que estábamos viendo en el pasado, ¿no? Era un rango entre los $2 y los 32. Había tenido un semi-breakout a los 68 y de ahí, velazo absolutamente potente a la alza. No mames. Ahorita está cotizando en 758, pero llegó un máximo histórico de $950. Voy a echarlo para atrás, voy a poner el mensual y quiero que vean esto. No mames. Vean esto, o sea, esto ya es irrelevante. Totalmente puedo borrar todos mis dibujitos pendejos, pero al mismo tiempo este es un gráfico difícil de leer porque no tiene tanta historia. Empezó en julio del 2021 hasta donde estamos hoy. Tuvimos nuestro máximo histórico en los 950 y desde entonces hemos tenido este rechazo, estamos en 758. La pregunta es, y también quieren ver algo cabrón, este velazo, una vez que tomó el promedio del 34, es de 1,600% más o menos. 1,600% en un mes, en una sola vela. Pusiste $1,000, tienes $160,000 hoy. Al culo. Ahora, hemos tenido esta caída. La mejor oportunidad, obviamente, para el corto hubiera sido en los 9.50 o por esta zona más o menos de los 9.20, pero ya estás en zona de nadie. Lo que esperaríamos es que muy probablemente vengamos o a donde está el promedio del 5 mensual o muy probablemente esto vaya a encontrar un suelo por ahí de los $350. Sé que son rangos bastante grandes, pero también no hay muchos datos en esta cosa. Si lo vemos en la semanal, podrás ver por qué. Aquí hay un poco de confluencia de precio, donde tienes esta vela cerrando, esta vela tomando liquidez y esta vela también tomando liquidez. Por ende, esta zona va a ser bastante atractiva para el precio de darse una vuelta y además tienes el promedio del 9 en la semanal, lo que sería una excelente oportunidad de entrada. En el long, antes de hacer un corto, y la razón por qué es, porque una vez que tienes algo que ya está despegando de este estilo, esto podría dar simplemente continuación para arriba que no tiene sentido. ¿Qué te hace pensar que no si ya lo hizo esto? ¿No? Es básicamente una repetición de lo que acaba de pasar. Entonces, para nosotros la mejor vista es la semanal. Tienes tu promedio del 9, que sería la mejor entrada. Tienes tu promedio del 5 por acá. Yo no tocaría el promedio del 5, yo tocaría el promedio del 9 y yo no le haría corto a esto, porque igual y simplemente hace esto. La fuerza de esta chinga es algo completamente inédito. Y con eso dicho, puesto, discúlpeme, no sé por qué no está no tengo mi cámara prendida. Ahí estoy en vivo y a todo color. ¿Estoy rojo? ¿Me da una buena quemada, damas y caballeros? Por supuesto que sí. No en el pecho, gracias a Dios, pero todo bien. Vale, me voy a comer algo, por fin. Ahora sí que qué buena ayuna de 24 horas me aventé casi, me falló por 2 horas. Les mando un fuerte abrazo, cuídense mucho. Nos vemos el miércoles. El miércoles todavía ando por acá, pero todo igual, como siempre. Lo único que no van a tener de aquí al jueves es nadie me preguntó. El jueves estoy de vuelta ya con nadie me preguntó y lo vamos a llevar el fin de semana para ganarle tiempo a lo perdido. Cualquier cosa que saben, aquí andamos, dense una vuelta a el E-Trading Academy si quieren aprender a tradear futuros perpetuos. Aquí tienen abajo los enlaces de Bluffing, los enlaces de BTCC, también tienen el enlace a nuestro sitio. Métanse en tutos, aprendan cómo hacer esa chingadera si les interesa. Y también, algo que le recomiendo a la gente cuando hacemos clases es lo siguiente. ¿Quieres aprender a tradear? Lo que más te recomiendo, y si estás aprendiendo de cero, es obviamente aviéntate todo el curso. Es 1 hora 40 minutos, no te quita la vida. 1 hora 40 minutos para que entiendas todo. Y con eso puedes usar las alertas que tenemos, abrir una cuenta en Bluffing o en BTCC de simulador, te dan $100,000 de mentiras gratis, lo juegas y ves cómo funciona para que te adaptes a lo que se habla, a cómo se usa, a usar tu stop loss y todo esto. Y ya después mete tu dinero. Es lo que recomendamos. No estás aquí para perder, somos degenerados todos, pero también lo hacemos con cuidado. Nadie se quiere quedar en la calle, por supuesto. Así que es lo que personalmente les recomendaría a todos ustedes también que hagan. Les mando un fuerte abrazo. Feliz lunes, inicio de semana. Me voy a ir al albergue. Bueno, no, creo que al mar, porque lo que he escuchado es que en el mar la vida es más sabrosa, pero voy a tener que confirmarles. Qué pendejo soy. Les mando un abrazote. Cuídense mucho y gracias por todo.